powered by the Zapata brand studio, straight out of Jersey with Jersey Jay-Z. Today's guest is one of the world's strongest powerlifters in the world. He held records for curling 150 pounds with one arm. He's a former actor and YouTube personality on RX Muscle. Straight out of Jersey welcomes Jimmy the Iron Bull Pelliccia.
What's up, Jimmy? How you doing, brother? Happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Thank you so much for coming on. Gregg's probably not gonna make it because he's got something to do with his family. But
Yeah.
thank you for coming on. You know, me and you get to talk finally. I get to have you on yourself.
I thought he didn't have he was like I didn't think he had any family, Gregg. You know?
No, it was very weird. His son is actually going over to his house, so I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really crazy, man.
That's nice.
Yeah, pretty good, man.
I thought he was like deserted child, out there, on his own, and nobody talked to him, nobody gives a shit. I'm glad his son is there. That's good.
Yeah, everything. I saw you posted something about your was it your wedding, your parents' wedding?
Yeah. So what happens is, Joe, when I start drinking a little bit, because this is my birthday tonight, so I went out to dinner tonight. I had a little dinner, and I had a few cocktails, and when I start getting buzzed, I start thinking about the past. I think everybody does, right?
Everyone does, of course.
When you drink, and like the other night, I was playing piano. It was a Sunday night. Normally Sunday night I don't touch alcohol, and I'm not an alcoholic by any means, but I was playing piano a little bit, and I was drinking a couple of glasses of wine. I had dinner. It was early, and I started playing a piece, and I had the lights dimmed. I had my glass of wine on the piano, and I'm playing this tune that I used to play for my mother,
Okay.
And it shows the way I play it. I'll have to play it for you one day. It sounds like running water because I do it like fast, and I kind of, I'll let you hear it one day, but my mother always would say she used to sit on the patio in front of the house in the summertime, and I used to play in the living room with the windows open, and she used to, I did that on purpose. I played the piano, and she'd always said it sounded like running water. She loved the way I did. I used to go up to the high keys and work my way down, and like I'm a nut job. Anyway, so that piano, the one I have now, it's an upright. It's a piece of shit, but the story behind it is unbelievable. So me and my mom were going to get pizza, right?
Okay.
At Umberto's over here down in towards Woodbury. Anyway, we're cruising on the road, and I see a sign on a telephone pole. It's just some written marker with a piece of shit cardboard, stuck on the telephone pole, and it said free piano if you could get it out, right?
Okay.
So I says, Ma, look at that. It says free piano if we could get it out of the guy's house, right? I said, let's go look at it. So she says, all right, so we drove to the dude's house, right? I knock on the door. He answers the door. I said, how you doing? I said, I'm here for that. I saw the thing on the pole. He goes, yeah, come on in, I said, where's the piano? He goes, it's downstairs. Come on. I said, oh, great. Go downstairs. It was like, Joe, the guy must have saved every book written. I mean, it was just books piled to the ceiling. But not only that, there was like a trail going through the books, all the way to this back room, and then it opened up into like a little room. But you had to go through these trails, these books. I never seen anything like it in my life. So we get in the back, and there's the piano, So I said, can I, try? Yeah. So I tapped on a couple of the keys. It was a little out of tune. It was an upright. So I'm looking around, and I see pictures, him and Telly Savalas. Right?
Oh, wow. Tell us about Kojak. Okay.
Yeah, right. Him and Telly Savalas, him and Telly in the car, him and Telly at the beach, him and Telly. So I looking around, I go, oh man, I says, you really into Telly Savalas, huh? You got a lot of pictures of you and Telly, He goes, yeah. He goes, that's my brother. I said, that's your brother?
Oh, shit.
He goes, yeah, I'm Peter Savalas, right? I says, holy shit, really? I says, yo, I got to get this piano. Just on that story alone, my mother was taken back too. It's Telly Savalas' brother. I mean, what was the odds of that, right?
Yeah,
so
of course.
I says, I'll be back later. So I went home, and I got my crew together when I was sanding floors and shit. I got all my guys together. I got the van. I says, yo, we got to get this piano at this guy's house. It's Telly, they didn't know, but I was like, this is Telly Savalas' brother's piano,
Mm-hmm.
Make a long story short, we all went back, 5, 6 guys, and we're pulling this shit out of the basement. I get it up the stairs, I get it in the van, and then we get it into the house, that was it. I had it at my mom's house
Okay.
back then.
You still have it?
Yeah, I still have it. Yeah,
Wow, that's amazing.
And
That's amazing.
so back to my story on this Sunday, because I had it at my mom's house,
Okay.
and then when I moved out, I don't think I took it when I got married. I kept it at my mother's, but then later on when I got my own house, I took the piano out of there. And I
Mm-hmm.
put it. So the piano's been with me ever since, So I got the piano 15 years at least.
Wow.
And I had a guy tune it up once, So, but when I had the piano at my mom's house, I used to play for her, And she
Mm-hmm.
used to say, "Oh, it's Alan." She used to just she used to just love it. She used to sit on the patio in the front. We had like a big porch, And she would just love the piano, how I played it, So I did that Sunday,
Okay.
and I had a little glass of wine.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, I don't know, maybe because it's my birthday and
Mm-hmm.
my father passed away November 26th.
Yep.
I was 12 years old. And
Mm-hmm.
when my father passed away, the next day, those days they didn't wait. They laid you out the next day in those days, in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So they laid my father out the next day, and it was my 13th birthday. And I spent my 13th birthday looking at my father in a box. It was
Wow.
something I never, something it twisted me up for a long time. But so I had that. Then it was my birthday. It's my daughter's birthday tomorrow, Samantha. I got to call her and wish her happy birthday. So all that together, I'm playing the piano and I'm thinking about my mom, and it's dark out. I got the Tiffany lamp on my piano, and I'm playing. I'm sipping on the wine. I just burst out crying, Joe. I just
Wow.
started crying. I was like choking up. I just started crying on the
Mm-hmm.
on the piano. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I says, I got to stop. I never do that, but it just bursted out. You know what I mean? So I went inside. I got the tissue. I'm wiping my eyes. And I went back inside. I finished my wine, and I finished the song. I said, "This is for you, Ma," and I played the whole thing. It was like this song that I wrote. I play the same song pretty much all the time. I improvise. I change it sometimes. I add. I take away. But this song has no beginning, and it really has no end. So I just play it that way. It could start differently, ends differently, but it's the same tune. You know what I mean? But I break it up and change it around, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's
How'd
like
you
my
learn how to
life.
play?
It's
How'd you
like
learn to
it's
play?
basically like my life. It's the same bullshit. It just starts different, ends different, but you look at it, it's just the same bullshit. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm. How did you learn? Where did you learn to play piano? Where did you learn?
that's a good question, man, because I play the guitar too, Joe. So I
Yeah, I
don't
know
know.
that.
I years ago, my mom made me take lessons, and I didn't like the guitar instructor. He was a real son of a bitch. I mean, he used to get mad at me. He used to take my fingers and put them on the strings like that. He goes, "No, like this," and he's bent my, And I was like, I was a young kid. He was
Mm-hmm.
pushing my fingers on the strings, and he's like, no, he was getting mad. He was getting frustrated. And
Mm-hmm.
I was young, but if I was older, I would have said, "Listen, what are you getting frustrated because you're getting paid $40 for the fucking hour to teach me guitar? You fuck." You know what I mean? So, but I was young. I wasn't thinking like that. I was just, the guy was being very, he was being mean. And my mother, she didn't really know any better. My father already passed away. So anyway, the guy didn't teach me shit. So I just started to play the guitar myself. And
Mm-hmm.
then I have a couple of good friends, Frank and this other guy, Louis, I knew. They play. So I used to go over to the house, and this other guy, Bobby Peck. I used to go to his house, and we used to jam together. And in those days, Joe, we had like this reel, this tape, with the two reels, with the tape on it. You ever see
Okay.
you ever see those recorders back then?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, when then it's got a big silver knob and you click it, and the fucking reels, the reels start turning. That's what we
Oh,
had.
someone wants to say, a couple people want to say happy birthday to you. Hold on one second.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
look who it is, Jimmy.
Who's that? Oh,
Lee.
Oh,
shit.
We also got
fuck.
John.
You,
Hey, what's up,
you,
brother?
you ask who is that? Has it been that long you forgot? Fuck me. Jesus Christ.
Lee Prince.
What a surprise, man.
Jimmy,
Yeah,
listen.
And who's that, John? I can't see who it
yeah,
is.
John Scuderi. He's there.
Oh, okay, yeah, because the screen is so small.
Listen. I know you miss your mother, right? We know that. Love your mother. I got my happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
This is Mama Scuderi. Say hello to Jimmy.
Oh, hello. Turn it this way. Your phone went the other way.
Yeah, you're sideways, John.
You're sideways now, John.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, there you go. Perfect.
Hi,
now.
Ma. How are you?
Hello. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank God.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Have a good birthday.
And then we got my Mexican fiance over here.
Hi, how are you? Look at that, man.
What's
I
up?
love family. I love family.
Look at that.
You gotta cherish your family, John, because it's just I'm not being morbid or nothing, but you gotta love your family while
Bring
they're
the
there.
show down.
Yeah,
Bring the happy show down, Jimmy.
No, I'm being positive. You just gotta love your family, man. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Last week, my brother.
Otherwise, you end up like me. Don't mind me. I'm only kidding, man.
So my brother died. We had gotten cancer at the same time. He had stomach cancer. I had colon. I'm all healed up, but my mom just lost a son, so we have it here tonight.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
So sorry.
So sorry.
About your
No,
mom,
good.
and we were raised similar in the Italian family. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know how that goes. I do appreciate it. And I want to say to Lee, I saw you moved on the lake, right?
On the river. Yeah, living by the river.
Yeah. About the back, he had moved also right on the lake here. I'm fishing in the backyard. I saw you fishing the same way.
Yeah. Just walk out the back door, walk down to the river, and just sit there and fish.
But you love it. It's so peaceful, right?
Yeah, it is.
Very. And the funny thing is, it's like I'm in the country, but I'm only 12 minutes, 15 minutes from the city, but it's out in the country. Then you drive into the city, so it's good. Like 4 acres, so that's nice.
Hey, you deserve it. Jimmy, one day when Jimmy comes down to Florida, where Jimmy and I grew up in Long Island, if we wanted to go to the country, we had to drive 4 hours upstate. You know what I mean?
Jimmy does that every day driving upstate.
Yeah, that's true. But it's not an enjoyable, but yes, it is. But
over here you could be in the suburbs, and in 10 minutes you got horses and cattle and ranches. Yeah. So it's nice, but
Long Island was nice growing up, John. But now it's changed a little bit.
It was.
You're from Brooklyn too?
He's from Brooklyn. Yeah, my mother's from. She was born in Bensonhurst, and I was born in Bay Ridge.
Yep.
Borough Park.
Yeah. So my cousins are still there. They're on Avenue U and McDonald Avenue. They have they got a bar there. It's called Joe's. Even though my cousin's name's George, it's called Joe's Bar and Grill.
There you go. There you go. My mother.
My dad's house is still there. So if you go if you walk down Avenue U and you make a left on McDonald Avenue, my father's house is still there.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
When we moved out,
To last forever.
When we moved out, I was a kid. None of the Italian women drove cars because they were from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
They all
I was telling Lee one day, my grandmother had tremendous calves, Joe. Tremendous, right? Because she used to walk up, she lived on West 6th Street, and her flight of stairs was like forever. I think it was like probably 35, 40 steps. And they were crooked. They weren't even straight, John. The stairs were like this.
They were like bubble.
And let me tell you something. It was like an alarm system because you could never sneak up to my grandmother's apartment because those stairs made so much noise, man. Like there's no way you could get away with sneaking up those stairs, man. And plus, if you weren't in shape, you'd probably get a heart attack by the time you got to the top. That's how many stairs there were. You know what I mean? I never forget it as a kid.
My grandmother's apartment in off of 82nd Street in Bay Ridge. Remember those stairs? They were marble. They were, I promise you, they were like 40 feet. If you fell, you were dead.
Yeah. Well, that's like my grandmother's stairs back then. If God forbid, you made it to the top and you fell, you were going down a long way, man. You know what I mean? You were doing a lot of bouncing. And they didn't have chair lifts in those days. You know what I mean? I was straight walking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Today, they got the chair lifts. You sit in the chair. I'm probably going to need that next year. And you just go and sit in the chair and you just go up the staircase. You know what I mean?
One more thing from Brooklyn, right? you remember your grandma when they used to go shopping? They had the metal cart that used to fold up.
Yeah, I still got hers. I have it with me actually. Yeah, yeah. It's a little like you open it up. It has the handle, and then it's got the 4 wheels. And those things were great, man. Let me tell you, they were
Boy,
great.
walk to the pasta house, the butcher, bakery. Everybody was an individual. The fruit market. You know, it was a different.
I got to tell you, Ma, enough for nothing.
Watermelon.
The bakeries, the bread.
Nothing's like
When we moved out to Long Island, my mother used to send me to Brooklyn like before the holidays. I had to drive into Bensonhurst
right.
and go get the Italian bread my mother wanted, and the pastries.
You're
You know,
right.
I used to drive it back. You know,
Get back to
My
You're right.
father,
I used to pick my grandmother up in a Corvette. Now here's a funny story, right? I got this Corvette 1982, white with the little duck ass with the T-tops,
Mhm.
It was red leather interior. And my mother used to say, "Can you go get Grandma?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So I used to blow into, the Belt Parkway all the way to, Coney Island, and I used to go pull in front of my grandmother's house, get her downstairs. I would throw her stuff behind the seat. She'd get in the Corvette, and me and her would haul ass back to Long Island. My grandmother loved that Corvette, man. And you know how the Belt Parkway is, right? It's like especially the Corvette, And she didn't say a word, man. But,
That's cool.
Jimmy,
that was a lot.
what's up, man? I want to say happy birthday. I'll let you guys get back to the show. Where's Greg?
Greg is with his actually with his son today, so he's doing something with his son. So it's good for him.
He's
But thank you,
out
guys.
painting lawn statues.
Probably.
I gotta say, Lee, when he told me Lee was busy, when he told me that Greg was busy, I pictured him outside painting the statues and stuff.
See?
That's exactly what I was thinking about,
Yeah. All right, John.
September 17th.
John, Ma,
I know-
happy Thanksgiving, man. Love you both. God bless.
Lee, I'm happy to see you doing well, bro. I've been watching.
Take care, John.
Be good, brother. Joe, kick
Hey,
him in.
thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
I'll come visit you when I come down to Florida.
100%. I'm right in Tampa, bro. You're welcome anytime.
When Jimmy ever goes to Florida, don't hold your breath, John. Don't hold your breath.
I've been saying it for 10 years.
Yeah. Sure.
The
got
heart's
it, brother.
there, John. The heart's there, though. I definitely want to come. The heart is there.
Yeah. Fucking, bro.
You got it, brother. I'll
Happy
talk to you
birthday.
later. You got it.
Take care.
All right.
That's
John
cool.
Scuderi wanted to say happy
Yeah.
birthday to you. Everyone wants to say happy birthday. Everyone in the chat is happy birthday, Jimmy. They love you.
Thank you, everybody, for wishing me happy birthday, man. I don't even want to tell you how old I am. I'm like something out of the Egyptian tombs. You know what I mean?
What are you now, Jimmy? 65 or 66?
66, Lee.
Hey. Clickety click, 66. Bingo.
Yeah, I tell you though, one of my friends called me up this morning. And he's like, "How do you feel?" My friend Victor, he lives in Florida too. He's like, "How do you feel, old man?" I says, "I tell you the truth, I don't feel any different, man." I said, "I got up this morning, I still got the aches and pains and all this shit." I said, the only thing that's really changed, I haven't gone to the gym lately. He goes, I gotta start getting back to the gym, Ever since Romano was making fun of me with the double chin and everything, I was like, "That's it, man. I'm looking in the mirror." And then I had a friend of mine call me FaceTime from upstate today. My friend Andy, right? He FaceTimed and I answered the phone, and he's talking to me. And all of a sudden he looks at me, he's going like this, like, he's making, I'm saying, what are you doing, Andy? You all right? He's going, I go, what are you trying to tell me? He goes, "What's all this? What happened?" I said, "You kidding me or what, man?" I said, "Is it?" I said, "Listen, FaceTime must put a couple of pounds on you." I said, "I don't think I'm that bad." He goes,
It's my birthday, prick. Don't tell me I'm fat.
That's what he did. It was on my birthday. Then he was putting a scarf around his neck. He was making like, he had the double. She was doing all that shit to me. I said, "Listen, Andy, I gotta go, man." I said, "Thank you for calling me." You know what I mean? But he was teasing me.
Go on after hours next week wearing a turtleneck.
That's what I gotta do. Or like one of those, like the Cowboys used to wear the red.
Oh, the scarf. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do that with the cowboy hat. You know what I mean? And some glasses.
Yeah.
You're saying happy birthday, Bull. We need a confession show.
Dave
we got
actually
plugged in.
called me. Dave called me tonight. I couldn't believe that.
Wish you happy
Where's the
birthday.
confession show?
First he calls me,
What?
and I'm hurrying up trying to answer the phone, and it clicked off. So
Yeah.
I said, "Shit, I don't want to miss my window with him." So I call him back, and no answer.
Ah, straight away.
It figures. I said he's probably sitting home saying, I called. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
I waited like an hour, and then I found out he was with his children. So I called him up, and he's like, Jimmy. I said, I heard his son in the background, right? So Logan. So I said, yeah, Dave. I said I might have this. I have a job offer in Florida. I says maybe I'll go down. I start, so I hear Logan in the background. I don't know. Logan's got to be like 6, 7 years old. How old is Logan? I don't even know.
He's about that. I guess 7, 8.
I think he's a bit
older.
older. 8 or 9, is it? 8 or 9? I don't know.
Yeah. So he's. I'm talking to Dave about the job offer, and Logan's in the background. How much, Jimmy? How much a year? I'm like, holy shit! I said, Logan's asked me that question. So Dave was laughing. I says, man, you taught him good, man. He's right down to the dollar. You know what I'm saying?
It's that Jewish blood running
He
through the
wanted to know how
veins.
much I was going to make a year. 8-year-old kid. I'm like, holy shit.
The person that asked about the confessions just then.
Yeah.
Someone asked about that person. Yeah. Does he have a confession right now? Because Jimmy and I will help him out right now. If you want
right now. Here we go. We got a little partial confessions right now. Let's go. If you have something,
anyone here in the chat has a confession, Jimmy and I will hear it right now and help you out.
I got the wine going.
Guaranteed to help. Guaranteed to help.
Jimmy, happy birthday. World is still round though.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
That's a whole subject, man.
Yeah,
that's a whole subject right there. It's very.
Someone said, Lee, do you ever go to San Antonio, Texas?
I only ever went there once. When I lived in Austin, Texas, I went down there. Remember the Alamo?
I think I went to Texas once too. I can't remember, but I think I did. I had an ex-girlfriend. She was in the Air Force, and I went to go visit her. Yeah, I did. I went to go visit her in Texas. Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Happy birthday, Jimmy. Love from Los Angeles. Someone says it's from Los Angeles. Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Get out
of there. Say hi to Gavin Newsom, the prick.
Thank you.
There's John Livia. John Livia's on here. John Livia said, happy birthday, Thanksgiving, guys.
Hey, John.
What's going on?
Thank you, John. Happy birthday to you and your family. Happy birthday. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, too, man.
Yeah, Jimmy. Jimmy, you got to come on John's show.
Yeah, you got to jump on that John show a little bit. John Livia. He's a good guy. John's a good, great guy.
Who's that?
You got to jump on John Livia's show.
The show I do with John, the serious and silliness, where we just talk about anything.
Talk about all the bullshit.
Anytime, man. Just let me know.
Mm-hmm. What'd you have for dinner tonight, Jimmy? What kind of dinner did you have?
I just had a steak. Nothing crazy. Steak, some potatoes, mushrooms.
Thank God it wasn't sushi. Thank God it wasn't sushi.
I tell you the truth, Lee, I'm not really eating sushi lately. I don't know why. My brother sent me a video.
Because it's gay. It sucks.
Well, besides that, because I was eating it every week. You know what I mean? So
you get the worms.
Yeah, my brother sent me a video of some guy that the bacteria or something got in his brain, and it was eating his brain from the sushi.
Yeah. Well, you and I are safe there, Jimmy. We don't have a fucking brain. We're safe there.
That's what I told my brother. He says, "Look, I ain't gotta worry. I ain't got much of a brain left anyway." You know what I mean? So
the worm will have a whole headspace just to roll around there.
Yeah, right. He's right. The parasites. That's what I meant.
The parasites in sushi.
Yeah, because it's very high with those things. I mean, even though I asked the guy when I'm getting sushi, it's been a while since I got it, but I always ask the guy, because I AI'd what they do to sushi to keep the parasites and the bacteria down. They say they flash freeze it or something like that, right? So I asked the guy.
I don't know when did bodybuilders become so big on sushi?
I don't know. Dave loves sushi too.
Because it's rice. It's rice and fish. So I can eat so much. Who couldn't? It's this big. The rolls are this big. It's like.
Yeah. You can eat a lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. How's your health, Jimmy? How you feeling?
Me?
Yeah. How's your health?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm feeling pretty good. Thank God. Knock on wood. I don't have any real issues. I'm on no medication or anything like that. That's when the last time I went to go see my doctor in the VA. She was like, she goes, you're the only veteran here that, you're not on any medication. She says, I don't believe. She goes, I can't believe that. I said, thank you. You know, I says, I'm thinking about a little testosterone. She goes, I'll never give you. Don't ever ask me about testosterone. She says, I'll never give you testosterone. I said, but why? My testosterone's in the toilet. It's like 200. She goes, I don't care. I'll never give you testosterone. I said, I have no problem. Take it easy. Don't get so upset. You know what I mean? She was like dead against testosterone.
We'll give you Prozac and all the other stuff, but not
Right.
testosterone.
Yeah. Ritalin and whatever else they give you. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Someone said Jimmy doesn't look a day over 50.
Thank you.
He says you're looking good. The Sweet said, happy fucking birthday, Jimmy. Mac from Sweden.
Thank
Sweden,
you, man.
happy birthday.
Thank you. Shit, what time is it in Sweden?
Down there to Stag and Hunter. Yeah, how do you want me to get there?
I don't know what time it is over there.
Yeah, what time is it by you, Lee? Because I know you're like under the earth. So what time is it over there?
It's 12:30, Jimmy.
12:30.
On Friday afternoon, I just got Rachel from work.
Hello, Rachel. How you doing?
Hi, Rachel.
Hello.
So
you guys
I'm
don't
thinking,
tell
Lee, we got to find out some kind of a way where we can figure out the Mega Millions and the lottery, because you're a day ahead of us, right? So
I know. Yeah, I get the
there's
numbers
got to be
early.
somewhere where, there's got to be somewhere where you could get the numbers, and then I could
tell
play
us
them.
ahead of
Yeah,
time.
I think that'd be like a time machine. That'd be like great if we could do something like that, you know?
Get the numbers.
Our luck will get busted.
Has the sun gone down there, Jimmy?
Oh yeah, it's
It's
really early over here.
Yeah, it's like 8:30 at night or something over here.
Jimmy and I can prove the world's flat when we're looking at the sun in the same position on the opposite side of the world. And if you were to look at a globe, Joe, Jimmy in up near New York in Australia, if you put the sun on Australia, say you got a torch and put on Australia, Jimmy should be in the dark, but we're both seeing the sun about 11 o'clock in the sky in the same position. How does that happen, round earthers?
I don't know, but I know the earth is round because the moon, look at the moon. What is the moon flat?
That's fake. That's fake. It's just hanging up there, decoration. It's hollow.
It could just be
it's hollow.
A hole in the firmament and the light shining through it. You don't know. You don't know what the moon is.
Satellite.
They never landed on the moon. Nobody could prove what that thing is.
You don't think we landed on the moon?
No.
Then why don't we go back? Why did they get rid of all the stuff they had? They lost all the videos. They lost all their technology, because now they're saying, to go back there, we have to work out how we can build these ships to go down. I'm thinking, if you already went, wouldn't you already have all that stuff? Oh no, we got to start from scratch. Okay.
Listen, you imagine it's 50 years, man, since they've been landed on the moon, Joe. Yeah. You think by now they'd have a shuttle ride for X amount of dollars to go to the moon, and they probably have a Hilton hotel up there, a Marriott. You could stay there, right? It's all enclosed with oxygen. You could get up in the morning, have breakfast, watch the earth spinning outside the window, right?
Mm-hmm.
And have all the millionaires doing that, right? I mean, never went back. I mean, they collected a couple of rocks. They played golf. They drove around in a dune buggy, which is total horse shit. And then they came back.
Called the president on the phone, on the landline.
Yeah, Nixon made a phone call from his office. He picked up the landline. Oh, how you doing, guys? You doing that?
It's the same. It's the same red.
I can't even get a signal for here to come back. My brother's house for a 20-minute ride. But this guy was talking to the guys up there.
Same red phone they use on the Batman TV series.
Yeah, right. The same red phone. And then, like, it's crazy. They never show you. This was supposed to be the greatest feat of mankind, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how come they never show the lunar module deploying from the mothership? Like they do in Star Wars, right? And the thing takes off, and all they show is the thing like landing on the moon like that. The guy saying 10 feet, 5 feet, oh, touchdown, right? So they never show the lunar module leaving the mothership. What the hell is that noise?
Maybe, I don't know. Sounds like Lee's landing on the moon.
I'm just. That's the reverse thrusters. And also, Joe, did you see the photo when it landed on the moon? All that fucking tin foil. I made a replica at home. Jimmy loved it, and mine probably would have went to the moon the way I built mine. But the landing gear on the thing, There was no dust on top of it. It would have blown up dust, which would have sat on it. And where did they put that buggy? Where did they hide that buggy in that little fucking capsule? And when they left the moon, as Jimmy would say, who's the fucking asshole filming them taking off from the moon? Did they leave the cameraman behind or what? What the fuck?
Yeah, he's up there dead. He's dust now in his spacesuit. They were like, freaky, we'll leave him out there. We don't need him. We'll leave that.
Yeah, fuck him.
This is the greatest event of mankind. We'll leave his ass up there.
Yeah. And we're never going back again.
Never going back again.
What about dinosaurs? You believe in dinosaurs?
I don't know about dinosaurs. I never, that's something I never really researched 100%. So
Okay.
I do, because they got the bones and skeletons and stuff like that and footprints and that, even like alligators and crocodiles are like throwbacks to the dinosaur. I'd believe in dinosaurs more than I'd believe in landing on the moon.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too. I'd have to agree with you on that one, Lee. Yeah, I would believe it. And even dragons. Like I've been researching dragons lately,
So you believe there was dragons?
That's that?
You think there were dragons too?
Well, I don't know.
Jimmy,
I mean, but
Jimmy and I have been married to a couple.
Fire breathing ones. I still got scars. No, but like in many cultures in the past, speak of dragons, so it's just kind of strange that a lot of cultures talk about dragons. So I don't know if it's true. It might be. Who knows? You never know. They're not going to tell us the truth, Joe. You know what I mean? So
I don't know.
They want to keep us dumbed down and stupid, and they don't want us to know our true history, our true origins, who we are. Because if we actually found out like who we were, we might be empowered by that, and that's the end of their power. That's we would just uprise and say, you know what, we ain't paying taxes. We're not doing like everything's a ripoff in this world. You go buy a house for $300,000, and you get a mortgage. 30-year mortgage. By the time you're done paying that mortgage back, you're paying $900,000 for the house you bought for
$300,000. Where I am right here in Mayfield here, the medium house price here is like $900,000.
Wow,
that's crazy.
I do have a confession that came in, by the way. A confession.
Oh yes.
Wait, before you say that, my father bought my house when I was 10 years old.
Okay.
$27,000.
Yeah.
When I sold it, years later, it was $5 and change.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the same house. You know what I mean?
Well, they had a thing on here the other day on TV that showed a house back in the 80s. It was brought for $27,000. Then it went up, and now today it's like $900,000. But they said even that money back then today it should only be $300,000. But it's everyone just ripping us all off. The governments, the banks, the people that run the world, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds.
It's crazy, man. They're doing 50-year mortgages. 50-year mortgages now.
50-year mortgage.
Yep.
Oh God, you won't be around it. Here the banks have got a thing where you can somehow do something with a bank, and I don't know if it cuts down on your interest or something, but pretty much you don't own the house, they do, and if you don't pay it, they just come and take it and sell it. So you're pretty much renting from the bank because pretty much they own it.
I just heard a thing, Lee, that Donald Trump, our president here in the United States, is trying to do away with property tax. That would be huge for home. Yeah, that would be huge for homeowners because that's a lot of extra money a month on top of your PMI.
On top of the mortgage. Yeah.
Yeah. If he could really do that, that would be awesome.
All right, here's the confession for you guys. Here it goes. So
Yeah,
Dan, he said, Jimmy, need some advice on my wife. She's leaving me and taking my daughter, and it's destroying me. How do I get through it?
Wow. That's something similar that I went through something similar to that. So, that's a tough one, brother. You know what it is. If it wasn't for the kid, your daughter or your son, or it's your daughter, yeah. So, that's what wrecks you because, for some reason, the scorned wife, the mother, they use the children against you, man. And that I never really understood that. That's the part. That's the shitty part, man. At one time you loved each other, then you had a child, and everything was great. And all of a sudden, I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't know why she's leaving you, but whatever the reason, they shouldn't use, no matter what the reason is, they shouldn't use the daughter or the son against the father. You know, I mean, that to me, that's like, the kid is young, so he doesn't, he needs his dad or his mom. You really shouldn't use the parent against, with the child, because the kid still needs his parent, regardless. You know what I mean? That's like my mother. No matter what I was, no matter what I did, my mother loved me, and I needed my mother. I needed her love at the time. That's the relationship I had with her. So that child needs his parent, his father, his mother, and it's very, very wrong why they do that. And really, the courts should see that, but they don't. But they should really see through that, where the wife is using the child, or the husband is using whoever ended up with the child. You know what I mean? But it's a tough one, man. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of nerves of steel. And you got to have patience, and you got to bite your lip, especially when you go to court, because that is tough stuff, and that's probably
can't say or do anything stupid. You just got to, like Jimmy said, got to be calm, and
you got to be calm. You got to
the second you do or say anything or send a text message, they'll use that against you in court.
100%.
Yes.
J Rock Reality said, Jimmy, we're doing a shot or a glass of wine. We're having some in here in Phoenix in your honor.
Let me raise my glass.
There you go.
Salute, Gin Don, as we say in
look what Rachel's drinking in your honor.
Jose Cuervo, some tequila, huh?
What does she got, Cuervo?
Cuervo.
Yeah, that's her favorite, isn't it? That bottle will be gone tonight.
She's a miss.
Wow.
Joe, one night me and Lee were doing the show. I don't know if it was the Confessions or what we were doing. What show is that?
It was the Confessions. Yeah, it's the Confessions where she come in on the floor. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
when she was
Rachel
drunk
came
and
in,
coming on the floor.
Yeah. She comes in on her hands and knees, and she was commenting. We couldn't see her because she was down low, on her hands and knees. But she was commenting on whatever me and Lee were talking about. It was hysterical, man. It was hysterical. But she was great at that one show. That was like, we should have her on regularly. You know what I mean? And she was reaching for the doorknob. Oh, you couldn't see her. All you saw was her arm going up for the doorknob. She was trying to get out. That was great. That was great.
She did that the other day on the podcast. I was on one the other day, and she did the same thing. But the only problem was, she thought they couldn't see her, but you could see her on the floor with the blanket over her, moving along the
floor. She's a trip, man. She really is. Yeah.
Jimmy, so I know you were close with your mother. Did she ever hit you when you got out of line?
So let's see.
Because Italian mothers tend to hit sometimes or throw shoes, like I got thrown shoes and stuff.
Yeah, when I was younger, I'll tell you a quick story. I was a very wild kid. I don't know why. I had good parents, but I was just very wild. And one time, I was so wild, my mother tied me to the chair. So she put the, it was an armchair like this. So she tied my arms to the arms and my feet to the legs, right? I was tied up in a chair like this. So my father ended up coming home. I don't know what time she tied me up. I was there all afternoon, but and I was tied up, and my father comes home and sees me tied up in the chair. And my father lost his shit. I remember because I was young, and he was screaming at my mother, and my father was untying me in the chair. Don't you ever tie up my son? And he was going nuts, my mother, but she couldn't control me,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And my grandmother too, my mother really didn't hit me a lot, a couple of times she kicked me in the ass and whatever like that, my grandmother, she was from Sicily. One time I was at her apartment in Brooklyn, and me and my brother were taking her pillows. She had these long pillows, and we would run across the apartment and then dive on the pillows and like surf across the floor and shit, right? So she kept saying, stop. We wouldn't stop. So my grandmother come out with the electric extension cord, right? And she was like, I was like, oh, we got on the couch and we were like, me and my brother were like this. We wouldn't move after that, Then my mother and my father went out. I don't know where they went, but when they came back, me and my brother were sitting on the couch like this. My grandmother beat the shit out of us with an electric cord. So I'll never forget that because that shit hurt. But
you get the wooden spoon? The wooden spoon?
I got the wooden spoon
I
a couple
did.
times on
I
the
used to
back of
get
the
the
head.
spoon.
Yeah.
I'd
I
get
got
the wooden
I got
spoon. I'd get the wooden spoon, the belt, the jug
The
cord.
I got the belt too. I actually got hit with a sauce pot one time. My mother hit me with the.
I got a few. So I got a few containers. Whatever was in my mother's reach should hit you with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the drain
The
board.
bunny ears TV antenna.
Oh, that was the worst, man. Forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowadays they don't hit the kids. Now that's crazy.
I know. And look, I wonder why. Look how Jimmy and I turned out. We're okay.
Yeah, man.
Nothing wrong.
We're like the child that like we hate the world or hate, no, but, we were talking about that kid under the staircase. Remember on one of the confession shows? Lee?
Oh yeah, that poor kid, the one that got abused. Yeah.
They kept him under the staircase, like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his uncle would come over and abuse him. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a sad confession. That one.
Yeah. That was the poor kid. Then the funniest I tell you, Joe, we used to go for 3 hours, me and Lee, on that show.
Yeah, I know you guys went a long time. You used to go a long time.
Dave used to call me up and go, "What the hell?" He says, "How are you and Lee talking for 3 hours?" Right? I says, "I don't know." We were having a good time. You know what I mean? Just talking about all the confessions and all the shit that was going on. That's how people.
But the thing you have to understand, Joe, because Jimmy and I, when we get into it and we put our cloth on, our priest outfits, that would actually get signals, would actually get messages from God himself. So when these people would confess and say, "Listen, I was abused," that's only half the story. Jimmy and I would actually get images and would see the true story, so we would actually elaborate on their confessions. So.
Yeah, like that guy in the park bench. Remember that guy in the park bench? He said that he was.
Oh yeah. He said he was by himself, but Jimmy found out he was there with his lover that was sucking him off on the bench, and then somebody was hiding in the bushes watching. So.
I always said they were like.
If you don't tell us the truth, if you don't tell us the truth, God will let us know the truth, and we'll come at you.
I don't even know how the hell we started with that story. The guy said, I forget what he said. Whatever he said about the park and the bench, I don't know what. And all of a sudden, we had him making out with the guy that he, met there, and it was crazy.
Jimmy got a vision. Jimmy got a vision from the Lord, and the Lord told Jimmy what really happened.
I don't know. Something happened, like when we put the cloth on. Joe, something. I don't know. Something just happened.
I wonder, out of let's just say 100 people sent us confessions. I wonder how many of them actually went and unlived themselves after we helped them.
Some of the confessions were like really serious. I mean,
I did tell you though, Jimmy. I did meet that guy. I think it was at the Olympia, or I was at the Olympia. He came up to me. He's this real thin-looking guy. He's like, "Hi, I'm the one. Remember the one who his transsexual girlfriend was in jail and going to get out?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've actually met him in person. He says, "I'm."
Yeah.
Yes, he goes, "I'm such and such. Yeah, she's not getting out. We're broken up and blah blah blah." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that."
Yeah, that was true shit.
Someone said one of the funniest moments on the confessions was Jimmy's "It's got a little cold."
Yeah, what he's talking about is.
What are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
You remember that story, Lee?
Yeah, it had a little nose drip or something. Yes, tell the story. It had a cold. His penis had a cold, Joe. His penis.
I don't know. I got something. I forget the medical name when your penis gets
VD.
Well, it is kind of like a venereal sex disease thing, but it's not like a permanent thing. I had what the hell was the name of this thing? It was where your penis actually drips like some kind of serum. So I went to the doctor because it wouldn't stop, and it was like in my underwear and everything.
Like syphilis?
And, huh? No, it wasn't syphilis. It was called shit. It had another name. I can't remember now. But anyway, it wasn't like a serious thing. It's kind of like an infection almost or something.
Okay.
So I went to the doctor, and he stuck a little piece of glass on the end there and he squeezed it, and they checked it out, whatever. And he came back and he goes, yeah, he goes, it's nothing serious. He goes, I said, well, what the hell is it? I'm leaking over here. I mean, this is, my penis is sticking to my underwear when I go to the bathroom. I got to pull it off the under. I mean, what is this? You know what I mean? He says, listen, he goes, just think of it as he's got a little cold. Just think of it like that. And I was like, he's got a cold? I'm like, okay. And I left the doctor, but I told that story on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And
he says chlamydia. Chlamydia.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. Jay of Reality says chlamydia. You got chlamydia.
Yeah. Basically, it's like it's like your penis got a cold. That's basically what it is. It's like a runny nose.
Mm.
Yeah, chlamydia.
Okay.
Thank you for. I know it was in there somewhere. I couldn't remember the name.
I should be like Jimmy yelling at this. I had to get the ride-on lawnmower fixed. Half of it was under warranty, but then I had to get a oil filter, air cleaner, oil filter 15, air cleaner 19, and like a new blade because I fucked the blade up 63. But what about this fucking labor? It came to $450. The parts and that were probably, the parts were like 19, 15, 63, 24, 35, but labor, $284 for labor. Fuck off.
Oh my God.
Well, they had to figure everything out, replace it,
That's what happens. That's what happens when you have white people working on shit. We don't have Mexicans down here. You got to pay fucking $284.
That's a lot of wood, man. I remember you one time, Joe. One time Lee FaceTimed me when he first got that lawnmower, and I was like, Lee, what's happening? Because we always bullshit on FaceTime,
Mm-hmm.
So he's buzzing around on the lawnmower, on the rider, and he's going all over the property. And he's hitting it, It was funny. The whole thing was funny, But you had to be there, But it was hysterical.
Yes.
He was loving the machine. I actually think he got cut. He actually was done cutting the grass. He was just still riding the thing, Joe. You know what I mean?
Was it one of those John Deere?
I just pulled up home.
No,
it's Cub something. I just pulled up home, and actually the river's coming in. The tide's coming in right now, so the river's nice and clean, and the water's coming in. Let me take this off here. Hold
on. Let's see what it looks like over there. Got a nice view, huh?
It's pretty cool. Like when me and Lee FaceTime, whatever. He's got the boat there. He's fishing. I said, you got the life, man.
That's really cool, man.
There's a lot of the property. There's a lot of the That's a lot of the property over there and there. Oh, there's another aluminium boat.
He's got like 20 acres, Joe.
Jesus Christ.
This is part of the compound here. I put the fence up to keep the dogs in here. There's my dog over there running around over in the corner, and they're chasing cars along the fence.
You got to get some horses, Lee.
That's nice.
Hold on. This is my horses.
Some nice.
Hello. Yeah, the wife in there. Here's the boat. Here's the boat. Here, look. Little tinny boat. Oh.
There it is.
Wow.
What do you got?
Look at all the ducks. The ducks are taking off. All the ducks.
The boat's supposed to be in the water, Lee, not in the middle of the yard.
There it is. There. It's got water in it because it rained. Look, it rained.
It looks like a shipwreck.
The Titanic. The Titanic.
Noah's Ark.
Here we go. Look.
There's no motor. You got a paddle? You got a paddle? That's a paddle boat? Not a...
Yeah, it's like
I got a motor in this.
Okay.
Oh, you got a motor for it?
A motor in the shed. Look at all the ducks down there. See all the ducks on the river?
Yeah. You got a nice, beautiful place.
You got any kangaroo running around there, Lee? He's breaking up.
He's breaking up. You got kangaroo there, Lee? He's breaking up.
We're losing him, man. He's going to the edge of his property.
I lost signal.
Oh, here he goes. It's 20 acres.
We're breaking up, Lee.
Leon, come say hello to you. Oh, no, signal. We can talk on the moon, but we can't talk here on Earth.
Good point,
Come
man.
here, Bjorn. Come here. Come here.
Lee,
come say hi to Jimmy.
You got any wildlife there besides the dog, the kangaroo?
Yeah, there. Look at this wildlife.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at this wildlife running over. Look
Oh,
at
they
this
got snakes.
wildlife. How you going? How you going, huh?
They got
You little bastards. Cost me 7,000.
Hmm. No kangaroos running around.
No.
No, none.
Them two dogs cost me 7. In a month, they cost me 7,000. Bastards.
Yeah, because he got bit by a snake, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she got bit. She got bit. And then 2 weeks later, he got fucking bit.
Oh my
Really?
god.
What kind of
they got bit
snake,
by a snake.
Lee?
Red
Trouser
belly
snake.
black snake. Black snake.
Oh, black snake.
Fucking everything black's fucking deadly.
Are they like poisonous or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty poisonous. I
Hey
think.
Jimmy, if you come down, Jimmy, look. I
I ain't
got
coming down
a
there.
my mate was selling this. Look, $2,000 for a caravan. You can stay there, Jimmy.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
It was pretty
that
cool,
would
man.
be cool. As long as there's no snakes in there, you know.
Hey, can't promise
Mhm.
anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my luck, I'll sleep in there. I'll get attacked by 3, 4 black snakes. You'll find me dead in the morning.
Jimmy always likes to see this because it reminds him of being a Marine to do.
Oh,
Yeah, the Hummer,
Oh,
right?
Yeah, I love that car.
Look at that.
Mhm.
Oh, here's a good
Yeah,
flag too. Look at that flag.
Oh,
That's
I love
very
it.
cool. Yep, with the Trump hair.
Yeah,
Love it. And there's me
Trump,
flipping off
I just
off the
noticed
world.
that.
Yep, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Got
That's
another
real.
caravan there too. Look, another caravan. We're gonna have a party.
Wow.
Lee, those,
Do you
those
just
tires on your Hummer, they have air in them, or they're like the solid tires?
I got the solid ones in the shed because 2 of them were getting a bit like bored, so I had to buy new ones because the solid ones, because they're pretty much bulletproof. They only had one in Australia, and if you lifted them up, they weigh fucking feel like 200 pounds or more each fucking tire with the wheel in it. So they said, "Oh, we got some in America. They're 600 American dollars." I'm like, "Well, that would be like 800 Australian, and I need 4." And then the weight to ship them, I'm like, fuck that.
Well, you spend like 10,000 on tires just with the shipping and everything else.
yeah, like
The
the
reason why I
Cybertruck.
mentioned that is because everybody always wonders, like when they watch like Black Hawk Down. Remember that movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And the guys were going through Somalia, and bombs were going off, and
Mhm.
so people always wonder how the hell are these Hummers keep going, because in the military, people don't know the tires are solid, so
Yeah.
you could shoot them, they could claymore mines, land mines, it don't matter. Those tires keep going, So
Yeah,
a little trivia for people,
yeah, exactly.
I drove in those things when I was in the Marine Corps. Those and the Amtraks,
Mhm.
those were like the troop carriers.
Mm.
I was in those things in the desert in California, the Mojave Desert. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you drove a tank too, didn't you?
I never drove the tank, but I've been on them. You know what I mean? My friends, when I was in the Corps, they drove the tank. I have pictures of being on the tanks with my buddies and stuff like that, But I watched them things. I watched them shoot the cannons and those things are pretty cool, and they're pretty fast too, Joe.
Yeah.
I think they do like 50, 60 mile an hour in the sand. They're crazy.
Mhm.
I had a friend that when I was working for Twin Lab years ago, I had a friend of mine, Jeff, that worked with us. He was like one of the guys that would go with us on tour and stuff. But
Mhm.
he was a gunner on one of the tanks, and he told me when he was in the Desert Storm. So he was on medication and everything. He had all kinds of problems, but he said that the Desert Storm was that Iran, right? The
Iraq, I
guys,
think.
Iraq, yeah, they were coming in. The tanks were coming in backwards. Their turrets were backwards. They were surrendering. They had the white flags going, and they were surrendering. They were coming into the American troops, right?
Mhm.
So they sat there and waited for them to come in closer, And then when they got close enough, they turned the turrets around and they started shooting at the Marines and stuff, right? So my friend Jeff said he just opened fire with the I think it's a 50 caliber that's on that tank, And he said he was just on the tank, just going. He said that he saw guys' arms coming off, and because that's a big round, you know what I mean? He was just tearing people up, you know. They finally gave up, but he had a lot of problem with that, man. He had a lot of problem.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, he was
Stefan
always,
Palick wanted to know, happy birthday, Jimmy. Are you still making the Muscle Mob straps?
So here's the thing with that. So I'm actually going to send a pair to Lee too, and even though he don't train heavy, I'm going to let him try to pair.
I don't need straps.
What kind of straps?
I don't go that heavy where I need them, Jimmy. My God.
Well, yeah, actually, no. You told me you don't go. I
probably need the straps to hang on to fucking life.
I don't go heavy anymore either. But anyway, make a long story short, I just recreated these straps, and matter of fact, I got them right here. They're all leather, and one size fits all. It's a really soft leather.
Yes, sir.
They're right here.
Okay, I'm seeing. I got them.
You know, so these things are awesome, and they're comfortable. They're adjustable like the other ones, but these are. I made the other ones too. I'm making them too. So this is one size fits all. So basically, the strap goes on like so, right? And then it wraps around like this.
Jimmy had to put the soft part in it because the little pansies were complaining. They hurt my wrist.
So here it is. Yeah, it's true. So here it is. A very soft leather. They'll last forever. Like I said, the strap is adjustable. You could wear it. You could use it different ways. I'm gonna have a description on my site on these are totally different, and they're badass. They're leather. They're really comfortable, and I use them myself now. I got them coming in like another week, and then I'm gonna post them on the site. I'll announce it. I'm gonna put a couple of commercials up on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that.
Yep.
I use my PA order. They are great for dumbbells. Yeah, these are even better. So even the ones that I was selling back then, the neoprene ones, I also am making those one size fits all too. So there's no more sizes. I did away with like small, medium, large, extra large, because that's a pain in the ass. Because if a guy goes on my site and he wants to buy my straps, he has to actually go home and measure his wrist, you know, to get the proper size, medium, small, large, you know. So I did away with that, and now it's one size fits everyone. You know, a small wrist, a large wrist. It's just strap it on, and you go. So I redid them, and I'm gonna launch them soon. And it's who the hell is that, Lee? Oh yeah, you look different, Lee. I thought that was somebody else just joined the show.
How much wine you had now?
It could be the wine. I don't know. You look. I was looking at you. You look like somebody else, man.
Oh Lord.
So, yeah, I know. I'm getting old, man. So anyway, you know, that's what's gonna happen soon, and then I'll announce it, and then everybody can buy them. You don't even have to do size them, or just click on it, order it, and that's at the end of the story. They're gonna fit, and they're awesome. So yeah, I'll let everybody know soon.
All right, cool. Did you go to Catholic school Did you go to Catholic school by any chance? They want to know.
I did. My mother pulled me out of Catholic school because the nun beat the fuck out of me, and what happened was she threw me in the hallway. I don't know what I did. But she smacked the shit out of me. She beat me with a Bible, and she and then she put me in the hallway. And in those days there was no heat in the hallway. It was middle of the winter. I think it was like January. And I was standing in the hallway, freezing my ass off. The nun put me out of there after she beat the shit out of me. And they called my mother, you know, and they said I was being belligerent or whatever. So my mother came down there, and she didn't know I was in the hallway.
Yeah, but before she got there, that Catholic priest kept you warm. Don't you lie?
Yeah. He took me in the spare room. But, make a long story short, my mother got there. She saw me in the hallway, and I was like, my lips were blue. I was freezing, and that was it. My mother got so pissed off. She took me right out of Catholic school. It was the nuns were. Let me tell you, man. Back then, I probably was in Catholic school in let's see, I was born 59, so probably in the 60s, you know, late 60s, you know. And the nuns were son of a bitches back then, man.
They were sexually frustrated. It wasn't like, you know, Sally Field on The Flying Nun.
No, it was nothing like that. No, these nuns were
angry.
They were son of a bitches, man. It was like I
And
don't
was it
know
like
how they.
was it like the Sound of Music?
No, it wasn't like the Sound of Music. I love that movie. So,
Yeah.
Hey, I've watched
oh,
that 21 times. My wife won't even watch it once.
talking about
Sound of
movies, Lee.
Music.
I don't know if I mentioned this to you. So I got two movies that just recently came in. I got this one here.
What's that?
Um,
Yeah. No, like I can
Jeremiah.
see that.
You can't see this.
No.
Jeremiah Johnson,
I think I watched that. Is that with Matthew McConaughey or?
Robert Redford. This is an old one,
Oh,
right?
oh
Okay.
no, that's an old one then.
Yeah. And then I got this one here with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's I don't know
The
if you can see
Island.
it. The Reverend.
Reverence.
Oh
Very good
yeah,
movie.
with the bear attacks him.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. So I just got these. So
Yeah. You ever see Frankenstein? Just came out. It's a very good movie, by the way.
I tell you,
Yeah,
man, I love that movie, man.
Wasn't
I
it a good
loved it.
movie, right?
I got very emotional with that movie because, in
so
the
did
end,
Rachel.
this guy said if I'm making my sauce, yeah, I'm gonna probably make some sauce this weekend, definitely. Yeah, yeah. I'll
Great
actually put it on
movie.
Instagram. So I watched Frankenstein, and I was like, let me check it out. And I watched the beginning of it, and it was very, Frankenstein in this movie, Frankenstein was very passionate,
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna tell because people might watch it. I don't know if anybody saw it, but I just loved the way Frankenstein was very passionate. He cried. He was very emotional, and it was very different. He wasn't like a killer.
No,
He
well,
was like,
The Robert De Niro Frankenstein, it ended up out there in the snow. Remember where he killed or his Doctor Frankenstein died, and Robert De
Yeah.
Niro playing Frankenstein was crying, and that remember.
Mhm.
I never saw the one with Robert De Niro.
Yeah. Mary
Never?
Shelley's.
That's a
Yeah.
good one. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I got it.
You
I
know
got
the
it. I got it.
guy who played Frankenstein in this movie, Jake Elordi. He was
He's
actually
Australian.
yeah, and he was supposed to be Superman. They actually
Oh, yeah.
he auditioned for the role of Superman. So
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
This
so
is the new Frankenstein Joe you're talking about?
yeah, the
he's
new
very
Frankenstein.
tall and skinny. He's very
Yeah,
tall and skinny though.
yeah, that's
Oh,
the
so
thing.
the
is
guy
he's
who
tall.
played Frankenstein was supposed to.
He auditioned for Superman,
Oh.
but he didn't get it, and I guess he said, never mind. But he's tall, but he's skinny, so I guess that would have been. But he could probably work out and take whatever.
Well, I got to tell you though, the guy was an excellent actor, man.
He was
Excellent
good.
actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yes, he had
And
we had a wide range of things, didn't he? A very vast range of characters he had to play there, didn't he?
no, that's true, Lee. Because in the beginning he played like a retard almost, right? Like he was
Yeah.
because he was just created and he really didn't, you know. And
I
then
want someone to love. I want to
I
feel
tell you, I
love.
love the part. I'm not going to give the movie away because I don't know if people are going to see it. I love the part when he met the old man. Remember, he was hiding in the
Oh
back of
yeah,
the
yeah.
barn,
Uh-huh.
and the old man was blind, right?
Yeah.
So he didn't know what he looked like. But
Mm-hmm.
the people he was staying with, they left. I don't know. They had to go. I don't know where they went. So he was alone, and Frankenstein, made himself, known. And I love that whole part too, man. The way the old man was teaching him, and he was reading
Well, look
books.
at Jimmy getting sentimental with the
I
movie.
was. I love that movie, man. And I tell you, the ending
I
part,
watched Titanic, but I won't tell you how that ends. I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
the Titanic.
Don't tell me how it ends, Jimmy. Don't tell me how it ends.
Wait a minute. You tell me you didn't see Titanic with
Yes,
Leonardo
I did.
DiCaprio?
Yes, I'm just being funny about don't tell me the
okay.
ending. Don't tell me the ending.
Oh yeah,
Stephen
yeah.
said, "Can we get Lee's take on Pauline Hanson and Burqua?"
And the burqa. Oh, yeah, she went into Parliament the other day wearing a burqa because she's just saying that face covering shouldn't be allowed in Australia and it should be banned. And she got kicked out of the Senate for 7 days because here, like you can have an open face motorbike helmet on here, but if you pull up to a petrol station, they won't turn the pump on. You got to take your helmet off. You can't go into a bank with a helmet or a hoodie on, but yet if you have a burqa on, you can pump gas. They'll turn it on for you. You can go into a bank with a burqa on. So people are just pissed off that there's a rule for them and a rule for us. It's like it has to be one rule for all. If we can't wear face coverings, you can't wear face coverings. So she's like the female Donald Trump
I
here in
gotta get a little
Australia.
more
So
wine, Lee. I'll be right back.
everyone calls her racist because she's almost like the female version of Donald Trump. She started off with a fish and chip shop and that. She has a thing called One Nation. There's photos of me at the last car show with her, the red-haired lady I'm with at the car show. She was
Oh, I
out there.
see.
Yes, I went to see her, and most people
positive. A couple of people commented, "Oh, look, too racist." Blah blah. Like she back in 20 years ago, she said about too much immigration into Australia with the Chinese, and sure enough, she was called racist. But what happened? Chinese come in and brought up all the houses and land in Australia. So she's pretty much, I said, she's pretty much identical to Trump, just a female version. So people don't like her. She rubs people the wrong way, but she's just. My friend had a flag there, and it's funny because she wore a flag into Parliament, and they told her she can't have the Australian flag in Parliament. She's like, "But this is Australia." So she wants to bring out, burning the flag, you get jail time. So my friend was there, and he said, "Can you sign the flag?" She goes, "I will," but she goes, "I want you to know," she goes, "if I get in trouble, I'll blame you, because it's like money. Signing the flag, you can actually get in trouble and have to go to court." She goes, "Isn't it funny?" She goes, "I can't sign the flag, but because I can go to court and get in trouble, but you can burn the flag." She goes, "How fucked up's that?"
Yeah, it's fucked up. That's crazy.
That is fucked up.
Yeah. John Klein said, "Happy birthday, Bull. Happy Thanksgiving, guys, from Fresno, California."
Fresno.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, John.
Mm-hmm.
Fresno.
And
Wow.
yeah, Aussie Bodybuilder said, "Australia is a liberal country, unfortunately."
Oh yeah.
That's what it says.
Well, it's not really
Too many,
totally liberal. Lee lives there.
too many bleeding hearts. Too many bleeding hearts that, oh, you got to let these people in, let those people in. We don't have the resources here. It's like we have more desert in the middle, and like living around the outskirts, we don't have room, but yet they want to let in hundreds of thousands of these immigrants every year that just come in. They want to build the mosques and they want to do this, and same everywhere. Same cast of characters causing shit around the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I find incredible? Like, I don't know if I believe in all of the media, because they have I listen, I don't care religion. People could have all different types of religion. That it doesn't, I'm not against that. But the Muslim people, like, I mean, how they're breeding like crazy. I mean, how many Muslims could there be? I mean, like, every country you see, like, they're supposedly protesting in the streets by thousands. And I'm like, where's the English people?
Well, I just find it weird because I was watching the thing the other day in a documentary. I was talking to one guy who's like an imam or a mufti or whatever they are, the sort of high up ones, and he was being interviewed. They were even asking him about the difference between Jesus and Mohammed and this and God and that. Then they're talking about how Mohammed, he's like, "Well, don't you find it weird that Mohammed married a 6-year-old girl and that and had sex?" And
I heard that.
the Muslim guy's like, no, wait, that's false information. Yes, he married her at 6, but he already had other wives, so he didn't consummate the marriage until she was 9. I'm like, oh, well, that's just so much better. He waited till she was 9. He waited till she was 9 years old before he had sex with her. Isn't that pedophilia? If
Oh
I'm
my
not
God.
mistaken.
That's
I
unbelievable.
really never researched Muslim law or the Quran or anything like that, but I mean, I've heard many stories, but I until I can really actually research it myself and
Mhm.
to make my own, voice my own opinion on it. I have no idea really what they're about, but I just know this. I know that years
Oh, that's
ago
Paul.
when Abraham and
Lincoln.
the two brothers, not Lincoln, no, like when Abraham had his two sons, Cain and Abel, whatever,
Cain
and
and Abel, yeah.
they I don't know, it's like two different races split up at that time, and one
Oh,
became the Jewish race, and the other became the Arab race. So and really in history, I think like they're actually like brothers. So maybe that's what the quarrel's about. They just could never get along.
Mhm.
Like
Natalia wants
two brothers feud in the family.
Natalia wants to know thoughts on Buddhism. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't mind them as long as they don't try and sell me those bloody bracelets and Bibles at the airport. Oh, that's the Hare Krishnas. That's the Hare Krishnas, isn't it?
So that's another thing too. Like Buddhism, there's so many different religions, right?
I got to get going, guys. So I'm going to
All
let
right.
you go.
All right, Lee. We'll talk to you later,
Good
man.
talking to you, Jimmy. Good talking to you, Joe.
All right.
Have,
You got it.
have a
Have a
great
Call me
rest
over
of your
the weekend,
birthday.
will you?
Yeah. All right, Jimmy. It's just me and you now. Back to me and you.
Yeah, brother.
So you were saying what? What are your thoughts on what? On Buddhism? Something you were saying?
No, I like a religion. Like I
like
don't.
religion, okay.
Yeah, like just basically religion. I mean, I think like, to me, like God himself, right? Created the earth and the heavens and all of that in the very beginning. And he was known from the beginning, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Adam and Eve, the scripture stories, and I think later on in life, things like the waters got muddied and different religions spawned off that. And you had all these different ideals about, creation and God and who we are. And I think the original story that God just created us and put us here on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the original story, and then everything else spawned off that. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's my belief.
Yeah.
I listen. You know, could there be that many different beliefs? But I think it all goes really back to the one source. That God created everything, right? I mean, whether you believe in Jesus or not, if he was the Son of Man or he was a prophet. Uh, this guy said I saved his life.
You see, it was like
Jimmy
like,
Bull saved my life. I don't know how I did that, but I'm glad I did. I appreciate that.
Jimmy, I know you were really close with your mother and you miss her to this day. If
Yeah.
you could go back and talk to her one last time and say something, what would your conversation be? You could say something to her.
Gee, that's a big one, Joe. That's a big one.
Yeah, because I know how much you really care and miss your mom. Yeah, I could tell all the time. You visit her grave all the time, and
I do.
I know you do, and you're really close with her. So, if you could have one last conversation, what would you say to her?
That's an interesting one. I mean, basically, I would be like, obviously, I miss her tremendously.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
And I don't know. I think maybe my life would have went in a different direction if she was alive. If I still had her, because let's put it this way. When you lose a parent, your life takes a different course.
Of course.
Immediately, your mother, your father, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think I would probably tell her that I would have done things differently.
Mm-hmm.
If my mom was still here, I would have definitely spent more time with her. And probably a lot of people could say that about their mom and their dad, right?
Yeah.
Definitely would have spent more time. I would have been more attentive with my mother. Even not that I wasn't. I called her every day. I would stop over there.
When she was sick, you were there every day in the hospital.
Yeah,
right?
I actually quit my job, and I stayed with her for the 3 months that she was sick. Yeah, I didn't even care. Matter of fact, I think I told the story on Dave's show too. When my mother passed away that night, I stayed with my mother, her lifeless body, for like 2-3 more hours. I just sat there looking at her, and holding her arm.
Wow.
I was devastated. I wouldn't leave the room. My brother left. Everybody left. I don't know if my brother left, but I think he did. But I stayed there,
Mm-hmm.
and the nurses left me alone. Like I was probably with my mother for about maybe 2-3 hours, longer.
Mm-hmm.
Just kissing her and holding her head. I was devastated, Joe.
I know.
And
I know you were.
because I was like her caretaker too,
Mm-hmm.
When I went into a depression after that too,
Mm-hmm.
because my love was so deep for my mom. She was my best friend, my everything. So, but in the hospital, I finally left the room. I finally tore myself away. It was hard for me to leave my mother's body there, man. I knew I wasn't coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I walked out of the door, I turned around, I looked at my mother laying there, and I'm like, this is it. I'm never gonna see her again. I mean, except for
Yeah.
the wake. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like it was very hard.
Yeah.
But when I walked out of the room, I think I might have talked about this on Dave's show. After hours, I walked out, and there was like it was like after midnight, so it was skeleton crew of nurses there. Maybe like 3-4 nurses, whatever, and they came over to me, and they gave me like a group hug, you know. And they were like, Jimmy, we're so sorry, we just got to say, we've been here like 14 years working this CCU, the cardiac care unit, right? And we never saw a son like you, that
Mm-hmm.
stayed with their mother like the way we never seen anything like it,
Wow.
And, yeah, they were all hugging me, and I was crying. They made me cry, what I mean? I was like, I didn't expect that, you know what I mean?
Mm.
But yeah, that was tremendous, man. You know?
Wow. There was a
And then,
wrestler back in the there was a wrestler back in the 60s, when his mother, he was very close to his mother also, that when his mother died, he
yeah.
picked up her body and took and stole and left the hospital with it, and they tried to stop him, and he pulled out a gun. Believe it or not. Yeah, back in the 60s, I think it was. I think it was
I can relate to that. You know, I can.
you know, he just went nuts. He said, "No, I'm taking her with me." No,
Yeah,
so it was
because
pretty tough.
I mean, Elvis Presley was very tight with his mother. He went in,
Oh yeah.
I think he actually passed away over it because he went into a depression, and
Yep.
he started gaining weight, and his whole life changed when his mom died too.
Yep.
So, you
They
know,
said they said if his mother was alive, he would have probably still been alive today.
he might have been, yeah, yeah. His mother's death crushed him. You know, I saw
Correct.
documentaries on it. But to make a long story short, after it was all said and done, I was, I had to get a dress for my mother and all of that. I finally found a dress. She wanted a beige chiffon dress.
Mm-hmm.
I finally found one at the
Yep.
store, and it was very expensive. The lady wanted like 1,500 for the dress. And
Wow.
I was like, listen, this is for my mom's burial. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
could you do me a little better than 1,500? So she charged me 8. So anyway, I took it, and I went to this cleaners. I didn't just want to put the dress off the rack onto my mother's body. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
you had to give the dress to the people, the morticians
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
the makeup lady. I had to give them hair color, and I had to give them a picture of my mom because the lady who does the people who passed away, um, they go off the picture. The hair
Mm-hmm.
color, and that's how they do it. They're like artists.
Mm-hmm.
Try to make the person look like they did. So. Um, I was very devastated. So anyway, I went to this cleaners. There was a Japanese woman there,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the dress because I wanted to get it clean. My brother didn't want to get it cleaned. Not that he didn't want to get it cleaned. He didn't understand like why I wanted to get it clean. And I'm not throwing my brother under the bus. He just he was like, why are you having it cleaned? He's because it was a brand new dress. Nobody wore it.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, it's my mother's body. I want to get it, cleaned, dry cleaned or steam cleaned or whatever to have it put on my mom. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's, I don't know if that's just what I wanted. So anyway, I went to the cleaner. It was a Japanese woman, and I had the dress in my hand, and I said, I want to get this dry cleaned or whatever. I said, it's my mother's burial dress, and I was crying, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the Japanese lady was very nice, and she said, "I totally understand." She said, "I'm going to steam clean it," and she did. I went back later that day. I got it, and it was hanging there. And I said, "How much do I owe you?" She says, "You don't owe me anything." She said, she was like
Wow.
very sweet woman. I said, "Thank you so much. I don't know how to thank you." And I said, "You sure you don't want any money? I don't care." She says, "No, no, no." She says, "Take the dress." So my brother was with me. I said, "Anthony, look at the dress. It looked completely different, Joe. It was
Really?
steam clean. It was like the color came. It was like amazing how the dress looked different. And I was very happy with it. So I gave it
Mm-hmm.
to the funeral parlor and all that. And so anyway, I was very depressed. Not to be morbid. I'm just talking about it. I'm not.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is 10 years ago now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll never forget it. I was very depressed, and I was actually worried about myself. I couldn't snap out of this depression.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, make a long story short, I started going to the VA. Was seeing the grievance counselor, right?
Okay.
It's not a psychiatrist. It's a grievance counselor. Like when you lose somebody and you're
Mm-hmm.
very upset or whatever, you see this type of person, and they help you with the death. You know what I mean? Very nice lady. I'll never forget her. I started going to her, and I saw her for 1 year, but as the months went on, Joe, in that 1 year, I got less and less. And I saw her every week. Then I saw her every two. I slowly faded out of that. But she helped me a lot. But I was
Mm-hmm.
in a depression for 4 years. I was on the couch for 4 years. At that time, my ex-girlfriend, I didn't even go in the room with her. I stayed on the couch. Because that's where I was when I was helping my mother. I would leave the
Mm-hmm.
hospital all kinds of weird hours, and I come home, and my one daughter was living with me at the time, so I used to go on the couch, and because I didn't want to wake anybody up. I know Denise had to go to work and everything, so I went on the couch, and I stayed on the couch, right, for 4 years, right. So
Wow.
I went to the brief. I didn't even realize it was 4 years, Joe. It was like a blur. So I went to the the, the grievance council, later on. This is before the 4 years. I was still on the couch. But anyway, I was like, I asked her, why am I on the I can't get off the couch. I've been on the couch for like a year. You know what I mean? Like, I can't, why, how come I can't get off the couch? You know? And she was like, where were you when your mother was sick and you were helping her? And I said, oh, well, I was on the couch. I mean, I would leave the hospital, come to the couch, go to the house, you know. She says, you don't want to let go of your mother. She says, that's why you're on the couch. That
Wow.
couch, you're still kind of connected to your mom with that couch, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it like a bell went off. And I said, she's right. I don't want to let go of my mother. That's why I'm on that couch, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But eventually I got off, you know, after
Mm-hmm. Wow.
circumstances, and I had to get off the couch, you know. But yeah, it was very hard. So like,
Did she have cancer? Did she have cancer? How
no,
would you?
she ended up having congested heart failure. Her heart
Wow.
just
Okay.
yeah, she started blowing up with water in the lungs, you know. And I remember that this Indian doctor used to come up to my mom's room because they had to take the fluid out of her lungs, you know.
Mm.
It's a very horrible thing, congested heart failure. It's no joke,
Yeah,
you
because
know.
I think you're cold. You get cold, right? A lot. You get cold because you're right or something like that, right?
Well, what happens is your body. So when your heart starts to failure, the water, the heart doesn't, the kidneys, everything's connected. So she had actually go on dialysis because the
Oh
heart
wow.
was failing. You know, so what happens is the water, the kidneys and the heart, I don't know, they redirect the water, you know, the body, they put the water where it's supposed to be. But when you're sick and your heart fails, the water goes in places it's not supposed to go. Goes in your
Mm-hmm.
lungs, goes in your legs, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you're basically drowning. So the doctor used to come up there and they used to have to sit her up and put a syringe in her back to draw the water out, you know.
Oof.
And they were doing 2 liters at a time, Joe, taking
Jesus
out her
Christ.
lungs, man.
Jesus
So
fuck.
I'll never forget it. The Indian doctor came up there and he was about to go in my mom's room. And I came out and I go to the guy. I said, you know what the hell you're doing? Right? You know what I mean? I'm like old school, you know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
he's like, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't qualified. I said, okay, good. I'm glad you qualified, man. I said, I'm going to be right outside this room. I said, watching. The poor guy was probably shitting, right? You know? Meanwhile, he was just doing his job. And I was like, you know, I'll be right out this room, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I stayed with her the whole entire time, man.
Wow.
It
10
was
years ago,
hard.
huh? 10
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah, it's 10
Wow.
years ago, man. October was 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And
You
I'll
still
never
get
forget it,
time.
Joe. I used to go down to the cemetery when my mother first passed away, and I first buried her.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to go down to the cemetery. Didn't even matter what time. I used to go down at 11, 12, midnight, you know, 1 in the morning. You know, like my cousins were like, "How do you go down there 1 in the morning? Are you scared?" You know, it's like, it's creepy down there. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, I really didn't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I would have welcomed somebody to attack me at that time. You know what I mean? But I used to go down there, and I used to argue with God. You know what I mean? I used to like yell at him, and I remember one time I was stamping on my mother's grave with my foot, you know, boom, boom, boom. And I was like, how could you leave me? You know, I was like, can you hear this? Can you hear this, man? I'm banging my foot on the ground, you know. And then I was yelling at God, you know, she loved you. She prayed to you every day, you know. How could you do this? And I'm yelling at him in the cemetery, middle of the night. I was
Wow.
like, I thank God nobody called the cops. They probably would have locked me up in a nut house. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, I went through all that shit, man. And, you know,
Mhm. Do you believe in signs? Like you like sometimes think things in your house missing. It could be her or something. You know what I'm saying? Because I know the
um,
psychic Dave and stuff. You know, sometimes things happen. You know.
I don't know about that, Joe. I really don't know because I have mixed emotions about that because you know, like I read the Bible a lot, you know,
Yeah.
and in the scriptures it says that you know when you pass away, you know you that's it for you. You know,
Mhm.
you're in a sleep until Judgment Day, right? But
Yep.
people don't want to believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Like my cousin Rob, you know, he believes that his mom passed away too, and my aunt, and you know, he believes that you know he reaches out. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's angels that reach out to you when you're in, you know,
Mm-hmm.
dire straits about your
Mm-hmm.
mom or your loved one. I mean, I've experienced some things, you know. I don't know who it was, but you know, I
Mm-hmm.
have experienced things, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
strange
crazy.
things, you know. Yeah.
Mhm. Unbelievable.
know,
This person says, "Aloha." Donkey Kong says, "Aloha, Joe. Wow, thank you for getting Jimmy the Bull on your show. Jimmy is a legend. He's a great man and wears his heart on his sleeve. Great show, man.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a great.
Thank you, brother. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do wear my heart on my sleeve. I do. You know, it's
Mhm.
probably it, it, it's good and bad. I think. You know,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
you know
What did your mom do for a living? Was she just was a
well,
housewife?
she worked in the bank. You know, she was she did wire transfers.
Oh, okay.
Um, like huge money, like millions of dollars. She transferred from one company to another. So she had a pretty good job. She was there. So before she got that job in the bank, my mother worked at my father. My father had an Italian deli, like A&S Pork Store. I don't
Okay.
know if you're familiar with those
Yeah, yeah,
stores.
yeah, yeah, sure.
My father had that kind of a store in Bayshore Farmers Market
Oh,
back in the
wow.
60s, right?
Hmm.
And I used to go there as a kid and hang around in my father's deli. But it was a farmer's market, so I
Hmm.
used to go down. And my father had the supermarket one time too. It was in the farmer's market, so you had the supermarket and the Italian deli. And my mom used to help him with that too. And I'll never forget it, man. It was like it was like a square, like that, and all the people would get around and they buy the cold cuts and the salamis and the
Hmm.
snails. I'll never forget when the snails. My father used to keep in like a wicker basket, and all the snails would be crawling out of the wicker basket and shit like
Hmm.
that. But what's he
Wow.
saying? Any wise guys in your
This guy says,
neighborhood? Yeah,
Jimmy, were there
there
any
were.
wise guys in your neighborhood growing up?
Yeah, my uncles and my cousins. That's why my father moved me out of Brooklyn. Because he didn't want me to end up like them.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
Hmm.
100%, man. I watched my cousin George get his ass kicked in front of the house. We were, it was a holiday, and my cousin George was home all day. And it was like strange for him to be home. This is when we were young.
Hmm.
And anyway, the doorbell rang, and my cousin George went down there. And these two guys, they started beating the shit out of my cousin. And
Wow.
but in Brooklyn in those days, when you're it was Sycamore Street or Sickland Street. I forget that it was off Avenue U. Anyway,
Yeah, Sicklin. I think it's Sicklin.
yeah, Sickland, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And in the summer, everybody's in the balconies reading the newspaper or whatever, having coffee. The whole neighborhood.
Hmm.
There was a joke one time I saw. It was said that it said security cameras in America, right? Was cameras, and then security cameras in Italy was the old ladies on the porch. You know what I mean? Because that's what they did. They hung out on the porch, right?
Yeah. Hmm. That's
So
100%.
anyway, make a long story short, the guys took off, and he did it at the house, man. We were all there. It was a holiday. I forget what holiday it was. So my uncle, my father, they took George to the hospital. He got pretty messed up in the face. But that is what they told me. I was a kid. I don't know. So when they went to the hospital, the two guys that beat my cousin up, they were in the hospital too. Because
Wow.
apparently, when they beat my cousin George up, supposed to beat somebody up in front of their family, man. That was like old
Ooh.
mafioso code, right? So
Yeah.
they beat the shit out of those two guys. So when my father went there with my uncle to bring George there, those two guys saw them and they just beelined out of the hospital. But they
Mm.
were there. They got their ass kicked too.
Oh my God.
And I
Uh,
don't know what it was for, why, how it happened, but.
mm. At American Hot Dog says Jimmy's a stand-up guy. I love you, man. Everyone never met. At Bragg Dog said, Jimmy, happy birthday, brother. No homo. You know we love you and always miss you and wish we had safe happy road. Happy birthday.
Thank you, man.
Someone also wrote, Jimmy, where did you get the name Iron Bull?
Oh, you want to hear that story?
Go ahead, tell us. Someone wrote that right now. So the name. Where'd you get the name Iron?
So how that name happened was my grandmother.
Okay.
She was from Catania, Sicily. And I got to go there one day. I heard Catania is beautiful. But make a long story short, when I was young, I got out of Marine Corps. I was in my early 20s, when I started getting into. I always lifted. Because I trained when I was when my father died. My neighbor was a homicide detective, and he felt bad for me, and he came over. I told this story on After Hours many times, and he brought me these weights. I don't know if you remember Joe Sears and Roebuck, the
The
plastic weight
plastic?
with the cement inside. So if you were like benching or doing flies, the concrete going in your face and shit, right?
Yeah, yeah, I
So
remember.
yeah. So anyway, make a long story short, my grandmother, when I was younger, I was training, of course, because I never stopped training since I was like 13, 14 years old. So yeah. So anyway, make a long story short, my grandmother, I used to flex for her in the kitchen, when she was cooking
Okay.
sauce and stuff. And I used to like flex. And I used to, Grandma, come on, feel the arm. I was doing my grandmother, and she'd feel my arm, and she would say in Italian, she would say like iron, like a piece of iron, and I was strong like a bull. My grandmother always said that to me. This is when I was in my 20s, so probably 23, 24. So I have pictures of that, so I have to send them to you one day. So anyway, when I was always training with Jimmy Quinn back in those days.
Mhm.
Me and Jimmy, we were in junior high together. And then he played football, and he started training with me. And I was a renegade back in those days, Joe. I had long hair, believe it or not. You wouldn't know now, but I had long hair, and I smoked cigarettes, but I always trained, right?
Mhm.
And I was always very strong, even as a young boy.
Mhm.
So Jimmy Quinn started training with me because I pushed him. He wasn't quite as strong as me, but I pushed him hard. So we trained together for many years, and then he finally moved to California, Jimmy, right?
Mhm.
Marina Del Rey. I actually went to that gym. It was a beautiful gym in California. It had an outdoor pool, and a bar. So when you're done
Mm.
working out, you could go outside, go in the pool, and they had like a floating bar out there. You could have a cocktail. So, make a long story short, Jimmy called me up. He goes, "Why don't you come out to California for a little bit?" I says, "Yeah, all right, I'll do that." I was very free in those days. So I flew out to California. I stayed with Jimmy, had a beautiful apartment overlooking the ocean, and we were training in the Gold's Gym, right? So anyway, make a long story short, Don Ross was in the gym.
Okay.
I don't know if you
Yes,
remember.
I know
I don't know
Donald.
if,
Mhm.
yeah, you knew.
Is he a
Did you know Don
bodybuilder,
Ross?
right? He's a bodybuilder, right?
Yeah, he was a wrestler too, the Ripper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Mhm.
yeah, that's his name. So anyway, um, he was in the gym, and I was training. I don't know. I think I was doing skull crushes. I don't know what the hell I was doing. I got like 315 on there, just banging the skull. I can't even
Mhm.
move now. So it hurts me just doing this. So anyway, I was doing the skull crush, and Don Ross was there in the Gold's Gym in Venice, and I trained with everybody there, Barbarian Brothers, everybody.
Mhm.
So Don Ross, because Jimmy told me, I didn't hear this, but Don Ross goes, "Yo, Jimmy," he goes, "who's your friend over there?" So Jimmy goes, "Oh, that's my friend Jimmy from New York. And Don goes, "You New Yorkers, man." He goes, "You train with heart, man." He goes, "You guys are animals from the East.
Mhm.
He goes, "Can I meet him?" So Jimmy brought him over. And Jimmy goes, "Yeah, this is Don Ross. This is Jimmy Pellecci." I said, "How you doing, Don?" How I shook his hand. And Don goes, he goes, "I'd love to get an interview with you, like your background. He want to know about me, right?"
Mhm.
I says, "Yeah, Don, whatever you want to do. I don't care." He goes, "Well, you could, come to my apartment." He gave me the apartment address. And I says, "Yeah, this is, I was staying in California at the time.
Okay.
So he gave me the address. I went there. I think it was a Friday night. And his wife, Rita, I don't know if you remember her.
No, I don't know her.
Yeah, Rita was a sweetheart. So, matter of fact, I'll tell you that story too when I came back from Japan. Anyway, I go to his apartment, and he had everything set up, the tape recorder, and he had the beer there, wine, whatever, and he had a joint rolled up. And I'm like, "Oh, all right." So he started the interview.
Mhm.
So naturally, he gives me. I've started drinking. Then I'm smoking the joint with him. And he's asking me all these questions. Like Don Ross really knew how to like tune me up to get the truth out of me. So yeah, he got me all messed up. And I'm talking about everything, and I told him the story about my grandmother. I used to be in
Mhm.
the kitchen. "Grandma, feel the arm." She's like, "Iron, like a bull." So Don Ross, he goes, "That's it, the Iron Bull." He said like that, right? And that's how it happened, right?
Mhm.
So I was like, "Okay, yeah, that's cool." And he wrote up the story. I was in a Flex magazine, and he wrote up the whole story, uh, the Iron Bull. You know.
That's crazy. The
And
Iron Bull. That's
yeah,
cool.
that was I don't even know what year that was, man. That was late '80s or something. I don't even know. So yeah, so the Iron Bull. So I don't know. So he wrote up the article like that. So then people started calling me the Iron Bull, and it just stuck. And it was like like that for 30 years. You know what I mean? So
That's
that's how
crazy.
that happened. Yeah. So
Someone
so
wrote, "How did you meet Dave Palumbo?"
Dave,
Yeah, how did you meet Dave Palumbo?
I'm reading this thing here. What does it say? The guy.
No, this one said, "Jimmy, tell these guys how big Jimmy Quinn was back in the day. His biggest, I remember, he walked into Gold Deer Park. It was a
Jim.
fucking
Yeah,
monster. That's Jimmy Quinn.
yeah. Jimmy was huge, man.
He was big, man, right?
Jimmy was like nobody's seen anything, like Jimmy.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable, man. His legs were like something out of a cartoon. You know what I mean? I remember when I used to go over to Jimmy's house, we used to train, right? So I used to go pick him up at his house. He lived right over in the village. And I used to go get him, and I would go into. He lived with Joe Vedek and a couple other people in this house, and I used to go like in his bedroom, and he was getting ready to train, and I'm looking at his bed and his sheets. He had Skeletor and all these cartoons on his sheet. He was really into all that. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
Jimmy was his freaking legs, man. I mean, Tom Platz had big legs, but Jimmy had huge legs. I mean, his calves. I mean, it was. And even his upper body, was tremendous.
Yeah, it was very big.
It was, and we worked, and we actually started working for Twin Lab together.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And he shot an ad one time. You remember the movie The Fly when he went in the transporter and he came out?
Yes.
So Jimmy did an ad like that for a Gainers Fuel, I think it was, or something, for Steve Bleckman. I'll tell you how I met Dave too. I didn't forget that. So. This young skinny kid was walking in one of the pods, and then Jimmy Quinn was walking out of the other pod, So that was the ad. It was pretty cool,
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. This guy said, "Jimmy, do you remember Gregg Kovac?"
I remember Gregg Kovac. Yeah. So it's funny because Gregg Kovac, I'm not talking bad about the guy. I have nothing against Gregg at all, nothing. But when I got the job with Metrex, that's another story, because what happened was my friend Keith Angeline, who worked for Twin Lab at the time with me, he got fired, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he called me up, and he was a wreck. I got fired. He borrowed the van from Twin Lab to do something, and somebody hit him in 7-Eleven parking lot, backed into the van, so the cops were called. Blah, blah, blah. So Steve found out, and they basically fired him because unauthorized use of the company van, whatever. I didn't think they should have got rid of him. Keith was very good at what he did. He did write-ups, and he coordinated shows with me and stuff. He was always with me. So anyway, I says, there's a new company just started in California, Metrex. I said, you heard of it? He goes, yeah, I heard of it. I said, why don't you put a resume out to the owner, Scott Connolly? I said, maybe he'll hire you, So he did. He sent a letter, a resume. He flew out there. He met Scott Connolly, and Scott signed him.
Wow.
And gave him, I don't know, like $5,000-$6,000 to move. So he came back home, and he called me up. He goes, Jimmy, you can't believe it. I got hired. This guy gave me $5,000 to move. I said, that's great, Keith. So he made the move. He went out there.
Wow.
So I don't know, 6-8 months later, I got let go from Twin Lab because my contract ended. And at that time, they were stepping away from the behemoths and the strong guys, and they were going to more the fitness, the running guy, and like the slimmer guys, like he was changing. So I guess I was like a dinosaur. So I called up Keith, and I was crying. I says, Keith, I just got let go of Twin Lab. I'm out of a contract. What am I going to do? He goes, why don't you come out here and just train in the gym? Because Scott had owned the gym, a Metrex gym in Irvine, California, right? Big health club. It was actually pretty good. I says, all right, I'll do it, So I hopped on a plane like the next couple of weeks, and I stayed with Keith. And he's like, listen, he goes, come to the gym around 3:30. That's when Scott comes to the gym. He goes, just do your thing. I says, all right, I'll do that, So I showed up at the gym at 3 o'clock. And I started doing tricep skull crushes in the back.
Oh, God.
So I was taking my time because I was waiting for Scott to show up, So by the time I got up to like 315, 365, right? Scott walked in and I'm in the back going, "Bruh, bruh, bruh," with the, I always bark loud in the gym, right? So Scott, he saw me in the back, and he went over to Keith and he's like, "Who the hell is that guy?" He goes, "Oh, that's my friend Jimmy the Bull. He's just matter of fact, he just got released from Twin Lab. He's out of a contract right now." So Scott goes, "We gotta hire that guy." Right? So that's how it happens, yo. So
Wow.
then he ended up taking me to dinner. Him and his girlfriend, they took me out to dinner, and we were bullshitting. And he investigated me with Twin Lab and all of that, and he gave me a 3-year contract, bro. 3 years,
That's
man.
great.
So
That's
yeah,
great, man.
hooked up with them, and I did a contract for a lot of years, man. On contract. A lot of people can't say that. I think I went like 20 years strong. I was with Worldwide Sports Nutrition, Metrex. I was with Tom Ciola, Hot Stuff. I don't know if you remember that back in the
Remember that
day.
stuff? Yeah. That
Yeah,
stuff,
when
yeah.
he almost got arrested because he was putting crushed
Yeah, I think.
testosterone in his
Mhm.
and that stuff gave you gas like a mother. I remember taking that stuff and I went to the movie theater with somebody one time, right? And I just took hot stuff. I go to the movie theater. I'm sitting there watching this movie. I'll never forget it. I was young and I had gas like you can't believe. And I was like, I can't even sit here anymore, man. So I got up and I went in the bathroom. I'm letting the air out. I had to get out of the movie theater. I couldn't, the stuff was gassy as hell, man. But
Mhm.
he ended up getting popped for
Yeah,
that,
I
and
remember that.
he had to change his whole. So he had me. He wanted to hire me, right? So he wanted. I went down to Florida. He wanted to. Yeah, he was a WBF. Yeah.
Yeah, it says right here. John Klein says, Jimmy, did Jimmy Quinn do a skit as his WBF posing routine like the Twin Lab ad you just said in the machine with smoke? Ring a bell?
Yeah, that was the ad. Yeah, it was smoke. Yeah, he was coming out of the pod, and it
Mhm.
was all like smoke rising up around him, and he had like a helmet in his hand. I don't know what the hell he was.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was the ad. Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Wow.
But yeah, and then also Jimmy signed with Mike Quinn and all of them. I don't know if you remember, they right, the WBF. That was McMahon. He
Yes.
signed them,
Mhm.
and they actually did. I don't know if you remember. If you ever saw it, they did a Family Feud. All the wrestlers, against all the WBF
Yeah, I
bodybuilders
remember
guys.
something like that. Yes.
Yeah, and they were going at it on the TV, and
Was Jimmy on that one? Jimmy Quinn was
yeah,
on it?
Jimmy was on it. Yeah, it was
Oh,
pretty cool.
wow.
It was like they were a Family Feud. So it was all the wrestlers and all the bodybuilders. You know what I mean? But that was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's crazy. This one says, Jimmy, you're a legend. Happy birthday. Much love from Philippines. Wow. You got a lot of people in here,
Thank you,
man. I'm
brother.
telling you, I got a ton of questions in here.
Thank
Hot
you, brother.
stuff was good. Says hot stuff was good. Yes. It looks like Mr. G said hello.
Oh,
Mr.
love
G,
you,
Captain
George.
Protein said happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I'll
Mhm.
call you tomorrow, George. I missed your call today, man. I was doing a lot of shit. I'll call you tomorrow.
Mhm.
But anyway, Tom Ciola wanted me to do like a bench press record. He wanted to call me the Golden Boy and do seminars. And I wasn't too crazy about the Golden Boy name, but um, so anyway, I was training because he wanted me to come down to Florida
Mhm.
and do this bench, and break the world record at my weight class. I forget what I was weighing, like 218 at the time or something like that. So, but he had all these big names there: Ted Arcidi, Ken Lane, um, Ed Cohen. They were all
Yeah,
there.
Ed Cohen. I know him.
Yeah, they were all there in the gym, right? So I show up, and I was staying with Mike Quinn at the time,
Mhm.
and I show up at the gym. Everybody's there. I'm like, wow. So he wanted me to do the bench. So I said,
Okay.
is this going to be official? You know, I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be official, like judges there, and with the red lights and the green
Mhm.
lights, and I wanted it to go down as Thank God I didn't do it, but anyway, he said, no, it's not going to be official. He goes, but having these guys here, it'll be like official. I said, well, I'm glad everybody's here, Ted Arcidi and Ken Lane, everybody. Matter of fact, I'm good friends with Ted. So you actually told me he
Yeah.
said hello. Yeah,
Yeah, Ted O'Feely said hello and everything.
yeah,
I have his number. He told me to give it to you. Said hello.
yeah,
Call him.
yeah. So anyway, they were all there. I got mad. I wanted it. I was like really banked on doing it officially, And it was like 6 something. I don't know what it was. So I got really pissed off, and I didn't want to do it, and I stormed out of the gymnasium,
Mm-hmm.
and I went straight to the gym, and I ended up doing like more than what they wanted me to do. I think like 650 or some shit. I was so pissed off, Joe. When I was just benching in the gym, and I loaded up 650, and I just took it, I tapped it down, I threw it back up, I racked it, and I did it like out of spite, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
yeah, so it never panned out. The contract never happened, and
Mm-hmm.
it's
This guy John Klein says, guys, were you around Ken Patera in the gym?
it
He
sounds
seemed like
familiar, Ken Patera. Yeah.
he was Mr. Olympia. He was a wrestler too. So he was
Okay. Yeah.
supposed to be a strong man. Yeah, I don't know. Yes, if you were around him.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Joe from
I
UK said, "We love you, Jimmy."
love you too, brother.
Mm-hmm.
I met so many people in my path. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny, Joe. So Dave Palumbo, let me tell you before like I never became rich out of what I did, but I got to say something. I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of people. I traveled. You know, I have cousins and stuff that they worked. I always worked too, but they didn't do the stuff I did, the traveling and the Japan and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff there. And that's so many stories, man. I can't even remember all of them. I have to write them down. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so the experience. Um, did you get the breast
You
pump? No,
didn't get
I
a
didn't.
press pump. Hey,
I didn't.
Jimmy.
I didn't. I didn't get the breast pump. I gotta call Gregg and ask him for that. But just the experience, the traveling, the meeting the people, and the excitement, when people met me, because back in those days too, Joe, we didn't have Instagram, Facebook, and all
No.
that shit. It was just magazines. So,
Yep.
so when people met me, they were meeting the guy from the magazine, right? So it was
Mm-hmm.
like a totally different experience,
Correct.
I mean, Instagram is great. I mean, I wish I had Instagram back then because I could have filmed
You would have
a
been.
lot
Yeah,
of
you'd
my,
have been all over the place. Yep.
yeah, I could have filmed all my seminars. It would have been fantastic, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And remember John Hobart,
Yes. Yes.
Manford?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we were supposed to arm wrestle together. It was at the Olympia, I think. I'm pretty sure. And we were going to arm wrestle each other. They were setting it up where me and Hobart were going to Hobart Manford. That was his name. So I got a hold of Hobart in the back, and I said, "What do you want to do, man?" I said, "You want to, let's stage something. Let's arm wrestle, on the stage, and then you hit me, give me a right hook, and then I'll hit you, and then we were gonna like land on the floor, like we were gonna turn it into a brawl,
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Mm-hmm.
were gonna make it entertaining, you know what I mean?" But so anyway, I was in the back. John Romano was there too. I was warming up with the weights and stuff. I was getting ready to go out there, and I go out there and I'm waiting, and Hobart never showed up. This other guy showed up. He was like the world champ wrestler. I forget his name. As a matter of
Mm.
fact, he's still on Instagram. I forget his name, but he's like the top arm wrestler in the world.
Okay.
So he shows up, and I'm like, wait a minute, who the hell is this guy? You know what I mean? So everybody was like cheering him on. They all knew who he was. I didn't know what the hell he was. I don't follow arm wrestling, but he happened to be like the top heavyweight champ of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I go to arm wrestle him, and I feel his hand. I got big hands, but his hand was huge too, man. I'm like, I grabbed his hand. I'm like, holy shit, I'm in trouble with this guy, right? So they held our hands, and then they let us go. And we started going at it. Joe was like up against a wall. I couldn't budge, and he was just smiling. I'm like getting everything I had into it. I'm like, you know what, man? He just took me. I was like, I'm giving up. Because I could tell there was no way.
Mm-hmm.
But my friend Hackley, before I came out on the stage, he did it on purpose. He was beefing me up. He goes, "Jimmy the Iron Bull, bench press half a ton, strong man." He did the whole thing because he
Okay.
knew this guy was going to come out and cream me. You know what I mean? So, but it was all fun, man. I didn't care.
Mhm.
So when I went back to the booth for Metrics at the time, everybody was coming up to me saying, "Jimmy, man, that was huge that you went up against that guy. Nobody would go up against him." I said,
Mhm.
"Well, I did it because I didn't know who the other guy was." you know? But
Yeah.
that was
But
fun.
you had a good time. You enjoyed yourself with everything.
Everything. And then one time Hobart was we did a thing on John Romano was there for that too. we did dumbbell curls on the stage. I used to do 150s seated.
Hmm.
Curling them. I used to curl them up like this, Joe.
Like that,
150.
yeah.
So Hobart went out there first, and he was doing the 150 dumbbell curls, right? But he was doing them. He was doing like hammer. He was pulling. He was pulling them up like this. I used to, bring it up and turn them at the top. So he did that, and everybody was clapping and applauding, and he went in the back, and then the girl Andrea, I forget her name, blonde-headed girl, she was like the MC.
Oh yeah, I
She,
forgot her
she,
name. Yeah.
yeah, I forget her name, but so she comes in the back, and she says, "Jimmy, you're up next. I'm going to announce you. What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to do the dumbbell curls, the 150s." She goes, "You can't do that. Hobart just did that." I says, "No."
Hmm.
He didn't do dumbbell curls, man. I says, "Go out there and tell him I'm coming out there to do seated dumbbell curls." Right?
Hmm.
She's like, "Okay," because Hobart just did it, right? So
Hmm.
anyway, I go out there. I was warming up in the back. I was curling 225, screaming in the back. They had the microphone on me. The whole audience heard me, warming up and everything, right? So I get out there. There's the dumbbells. John was there actually. And I sit in the chair and I pick up the two 150s and I just started wailing on them, like, and just like really pulling them up,
Hmm.
and people were going nuts, nuts, like,
Hmm.
So I finally did like 3, 4, 5 reps, whatever it was. I threw the dumbbells down and I go back to the booth and people were coming up to me, say, "Oh my God, Jimmy, man, it was awesome. Hobart was not like you, but so I kind of showed Hobart up a little bit.
Hmm.
But the cool thing was, like, later on, after the show closed at 5, it was always like a convention hall. 5 o'clock, they flashed the lights. Everybody's got to get out, all that bullshit. So I went to the restaurant, and it's like a big round bar. This one place we went to, I forget the name of it. And I'm at one end with all my friends, and Hobart was at the other end. And I said, "Oh shit, man, there's Hobart." So he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I'm going, "Is this going to be a problem, man?" You know what I mean? So all of a sudden, Hobart raises up his beer mug like this.
Mm. Okay.
So I looked at him and I raised up my beer mug, man. And we like we cheered each other from the distance.
Hmm.
So that's how that ended with him. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. John Klein said, "Did you ever have any injuries in training?" I guess I
Shit,
don't know.
yeah. You kidding
A
me?
lot of injuries.
Yeah, yeah. I had forget about now, but back then, I tore a pec. It was a partial tear. I bled all over the place internally. It was all down my. I never saw so much blood in my life. It was down the pec, up the shoulder, down the side to my rib, my hips, all blood inside.
Wow. That
And
weight you were pushing, when that falls on you, how do you get it off? You got to roll it. That's got to fucking hurt.
why? You mean when you tear a pec or something?
Well, if it falls down that weight, the weight you were doing, on you, I mean, you can't
Yeah.
get it off. You got to roll it
No,
down.
no, you can't. Well, it's very hard to roll 5, 6, 700 pounds down.
Yeah. You
But
kill you. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I tore it because I was showing off. I came into World's Gym in Babylon. It was in the middle of the winter, and I was very aggressive when I was younger. And I came in the gym and I tore off my jacket. Because there was a lot of people there. And I just jumped on a bench and I put 405 on, cold,
Mhm.
and I just wailing on the
Wow.
405. And I put that away. Then I put 5 plates on, and I don't know what the hell made me do this. And I took I took the 500 off, 495, whatever it was, and I came down. As I was coming up, I heard it rip, right, and
Oof.
I'll never forget the sound, man. It sounded like if you took a dish towel and ripped the dish towel in half. You know how it's
Ooh,
not a
yes.
clean rip. It's like
Oh,
that you could hear the thread, like it was
oh
that kind
yeah.
of, and it was muffled because it was under the skin, right? So
Oof.
I heard it, and I pushed the weight back up because it was actually on my way up when it happened, and I racked it, and I was like, holy shit, and I looked in the mirror, my pec was, they were a lot bigger then, but my pec was hanging, right? And I'm like, fuck, man. And I look in the mirror, it starts bleeding up, and I got the ice packs and everything. And anyway, I went to several doctors, and they were telling me, your career is over, And I said, my career is over. I said, I'm in the height of my career right now. What do you mean my career is over? He says, well, you got a torn muscle, and it's, so I didn't want to hear him. So I went to like 3 or 4 doctors, Joe, until I heard the right guy, right? Because that's how I am. Like, it's all mental,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, of
So
course.
I finally go to the sports doctor. I think it was Dave's guy. And he looks at me and he's feeling the pack and he saw all the blood and everything, he's like, Jimmy, you're gonna be fine. I
Okay.
said, really? He said, it's a partial tear, it's not a full tear. He goes, you're gonna have a little dent there. He goes, but he goes, think of it this way. He goes, you'll never tear your pec in that spot again. Because once it heals, it heals back stronger because of the scar tissue. So I was like, wow,
Yeah.
really? He goes, yeah. So that was it. So a few weeks, a month later, whatever it was, I started working out. It was hurt like hell. And it didn't even matter what I did. If I did back, and no matter what movement it was, it killed me, because it was right there.
Yeah, yeah.
So once I started healing up, man, I started getting back up to like 8 and change on the bench again. I was going nuts.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. This guy
Yo,
was the arm wrestle John Bresnik. Was that the guy? Ask Jimmy if the arm wrestler was John Bersnick. Does that ring a bell? Do you remember if that rang a bell?
maybe I can't
I
remember
don't
the
know.
guy.
Okay.
He's on
You wanna-
Instagram all the time. This guy.
Oh, maybe.
Um,
I don't know.
yeah, you can still catch him on Instagram. He's still on. I think he's still arm wrestling actually.
Wow.
But Dave Palumbo, I
Mhm.
knew him from the neighborhood, from back in the day, and
Oh, okay. From the neighborhood.
through,
Okay.
yeah, from the gyms. He was in Merrick. I was in Huntington, but we met each other through the gyms and everything, and me and Dave we bonded from day one.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I knew Dave when he was still living at his father's house, and
Mhm.
we just became very tight. And
Mhm.
he was actually at my wedding, and he came to my wedding and everything.
Hmm.
And he showed up in his shorts and his sneakers, like he always wears. He didn't change his dress code at all. But
Your wedding.
so,
Okay.
yeah, I had a backyard wedding. It was pretty cool. Everybody.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, so what is this guy saying? I tore my pec.
Jimmy
It
said, "I
bled.
tore my pec. It bled to my left hip.
Yeah,
Luckily, I had a spotter. He cracked. He racked it on midway bars. Popped load.
yeah,
Load.
yeah. He spotted him on the way up with the tear. Yeah, I didn't have that luck. I had pushed it up, because I wasn't really certain what it was, but because that was my first tear, and I did it again in Deer Park Gold's gym. I did the left side, same shit. I was
Mhm.
going nuts in the gym with the bench, and didn't warm up enough. It's very important to warm up. I didn't, and I had 675 on air, and I just took it off and I started just repping it, and I heard a rip on the left side, and I'm like, oh no, man, I racked the weight. I went home right away, and then
Mhm.
I went to that same doctor. And he told me it's the same scenario.
This guy says,
Once,
Jimmy, did you stop doing RX? The show sucks with Armand and the other guy not entertaining at all. No, you're still on RX, right? You're still there.
yeah, no, I just been so busy with stuff and.
Yeah, he does it. You're working a lot and everything, so it's
Yeah,
tough.
and Dave does. I love Dave, but he does it 1 in the afternoon, man. It's like in the middle of my day. You know what I mean? Like I try, but maybe
Yeah,
things will change for me in the near future. Where I could
yeah,
go on a little more.
yeah,
Because I love doing this show for Dave. I have a lot of fun on the
yeah.
show.
Yeah, and you got I got a ton of questions here, but I mean, we're already 2 hours in, and
Yeah,
I'm like, we got so
yeah,
many questions, so maybe we do another part two. But
yeah. We
everyone
could.
loves
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
But Jimmy, thank you so much for coming on. Let's do another time. I love you, brother. You know that.
Absolutely, Joe. I love you too, man. I got a million stories. I could tell you so many shit about Japan and the book I was gonna write with Don Ross.
Yeah, we got
And
to go into that, man. There's
yeah,
already
it's a
2 hours. I don't
yeah.
want to take up all your night, so maybe we'll do it in
Yeah, and then when I had
another
a fight with the
40
guy and was in Ohio with Scott Sconnelly, I got my steak wasn't cooked the way I wanted. I went into the freaking kitchen and I was screaming at the cook and shit. I got so many stories I could tell you. Yeah, running around
Well,
with Frank Zeppi. I ran with Frank Zeppi for like 12 years with Frank.
yeah, Frank
And
Zeppi. Wow. Yeah, I see him all over
yeah,
Instagram. Yeah.
yeah. Me and him are very tight. We're very close for years.
Wow.
And I could tell you the story when we were in San Francisco and the gay cab driver threw us out of the cab. and I was like
Well,
the only cab we could get. And then we get in the cab because we went to this tattoo convention. I don't know what the hell we were doing, but and we come to learn that the place was like all gangs and stuff, right?
mhm.
So we had to get the hell out of there. It was getting dark. So I called my girlfriend at the time in New York. I says, listen, you got to get us a cab. Please call us a cab. We were on the street. We were hiding behind the mailbox every time a car passed because there's shoot, drive-bys and stuff. So we were nervous, So finally, Denise, she got a hold of the cab company because the cab companies wouldn't even come there at night. They wouldn't come get us. So she finally found us a cab, right? So the guy shows up and we get in the car and we're driving, not even like 5 minutes. And I called the guy a gay bastard. I don't know why. We were talking and I said something and he said something nasty back and I called him a gay F. And he stopped the car and he threw us out. So Frank was so mad. He wouldn't talk to me, man. He was walking down the sidewalk like fast, And Frank walks fast. He's tall, I'm sure, So I couldn't keep up with him. I'm going, Frank, stop. Right. He just kept walking. He was so mad. He wouldn't even talk to me, man. But of course, we made up later, but yeah, I got to tell you those stories. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, it says, great seeing you guys. Definitely bring Jimmy on more. It says they want you on here, Jimmy. They want you to come on. So maybe next week or something, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, as long as I got wine going, I'm good.
Yeah. Happy birthday, my brother. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Joe.
I love you, man. Thank you so much, brother.
I love you too, man.
All right, I'll talk to you in a little bit, brother.
All right, my man. Ciao.
Started from nothing. Jersey streets, we owned it. Jay-Z pumping iron. Body builder Cody. Beans on the course.